Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 88. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How you doing, Dory?
Hello, this is where I would have sung one of the Persona 3 songs, but I was not ready, so I will not do that. Yeah, I'm good, doing good, doing well. I beat Persona 3 yesterday, Saturday. We're recording Sunday, February 15th. Um, and yeah, I'm doing well. It's been a great week for gaming, and so I'm really excited to talk about, especially the state of play, which will be our main topic, of course. We're also going to talk about the replaced demo that just came out recently. Seb's going to talk about Reanimal and Nioh 3, two new games that came out recently. And we're going to start talking by discussing the Silent Hill transmission, which also happened this week.
All right, so the state of play and the Silent Hill transmission happened on the same night. It happened about an hour after the state of play ended, and it was a live stream from Konami, which is focused entirely on its next main project in the Silent Hill franchise, which is Silent Hill Townfall, which we also got to see at the state of play. And I didn't think it was a coincidence that we got a Silent Hill show around the same day as the state of play. I think it was planned that way, of course. And so, what's different about this game? Well, it's first person. That's a major shift for the franchise. There has never been a first person Silent Hill game, from my understanding. And it's designed for immersion and it's designed for vulnerability. They focused on a tighter view, more tension, and fewer safe angles. They made it clear that it was less action heavy and more psychological and atmospheric, which pretty much what Silent Hill is known for. So Silent Hill F was the definitely the outlier in the franchise where it was like very action heavy and the whole game was like a Souls game, while most of the series is mostly focused on slow atmosphere and horror. So, Dory, what'd you think of the first person perspective for this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always of the opinion that first person tends to accentuate the horror. I mean, I still think the scariest Resident Evil games I've ever played are in first person. It's 7 and 8, right? And I don't even think it's particularly close. Now, it is fair to say that, um, 4 and 5, and 2 and 3, the remakes specifically, are more geared towards action, especially, 3, 4, and 5. 2, you could at least argue that Mr. X can be pretty scary. Although I was never super scared by him. Honestly, I was more annoyed by him. But yeah, I generally think that first person view accentuates the horror. Like I said, it makes you feel like you're stepping into the shoes of the protagonist. It makes you feel like you're there a lot more than if you were in third person. That's why when Resident Evil 8 comes out, or 9, excuse me, I'll probably be playing, those sections with, forgetting her name, but with the the character opposite Leon. I'm going to be playing her first
Claire?
person and him in third.
Oh, you mean
Uh,
Grace? Grace.
Grace, yes, I couldn't remember her name, but yes, Grace. But yeah, I like it. I think it makes it more immersive. So I think it's a positive change. I think it's just going to be a one-off. I wouldn't expect all Silent Hill games going forward to be like this. I
No.
think it's just the people at the studio behind this feel like that's the right approach for their particular game, and I
Hmm.
think that's great.
Yeah, so you play as Simon Ordell, and the game is set in a small, fog-covered coastal town instead of the traditional Silent Hill setting. So another game not in the Silent Hill town. This one is focused on isolation, mystery, and like a slow burn dread, rather than the constant combat. Like I said, as focused on exploration and the puzzles, and it's going to have environmental storytelling. The combat is limited. They kept saying that in the showcase. There's more about sneaking past the enemies and avoiding the enemies if you can. They focused on a new signature tool that replaced the classic radio. It's a handheld CRT television device that detects danger and gives clues. And it had a couple of moments where it was the character was walking through abandoned streets and in interiors, and there was heavy fog and tight hallways and flickering lights, and we got to see some glimpses of the monsters, typical Silent Hill monsters. And the overall vibe of the game was, very tense and quiet, unsettling. So the game was very definitely focused more on being less is more, and this game is a major contrast to Silent Hill F, which also had really good atmosphere and horror and all that. But that game was very action focused. This is returning Silent Hill more to its roots, maybe even less than the original games. The original game still had combat where you would hit an enemy with a piece of wood or crowbar, or you shoot them or something like that. This game is very like stealth focused. So what did you think of the gameplay overall, and the overall
Yeah,
tone and everything?
yeah. I mean, I feel like the tone made a lot of sense to me. I didn't like the combat much in Silent Hill F when I played of it. Um, Obviously, Silent Hill combat's always going to be clunky. I think that's just a mainstay at this point. I mean, that's because a critical difference between Silent Hill and other franchises is that a lot of the people in Silent Hill are just normal people. They don't have police training or anything like that. They're on special ops or units or something like that, right? So it made total sense to me. All the swings with the wood and the metal and whatever else was going on in that trailer looked pretty classic Silent Hill to me in terms of didn't look like it'd be winning any awards for its combat, but you can it felt like to me that they were giving you a choice between going into combat or going stealth, but you probably do want to go stealth more than you want to go combat, of course, because it is survival horror. So I liked what I saw. There was a little bit of gunplay too. I'm sure ammo is going to be very scarce, so you're probably only going to want to use that in emergency situations.
Yeah, yeah. This definitely looks like an Annapurna version of Silent Hill, is the best way I can
Yeah.
describe it. I mean, they're not. I know they're not. They're not really developers. They're more of a publisher, right? But they do. They're dead. They are tend. They are known for rather of making narrative focused games generally. Dory, would you agree with that? Like smaller indie, they tend to be very narrative focused games generally. Like
Yeah,
the
I
games they
agree. I
publish.
think I think that's Konami's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Plus, Annapurna is like that's what they're known for. Annapurna in general, like
Yeah, I think that's what Konami's doing at this point. They're like, okay, we're not going to produce the games, but we're going to fund and help people who want to produce our games for us, basically.
yeah,
And it's, usually I would say this sarcastically. That's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for him. But I mean, generally speaking, it's gone really well, right? I know Silent Hill F didn't click with me, but a lot of people really liked it. Thought it gave it a sevens and eights, right?
mm,
And of course, the Silent Hill 2 remake by Bloober was done excellently. So you can't say it's not working for them, and both games sold pretty well from what I know. Certainly, the remake of SH2 did. So yeah, I mean, it literally is a bold strategy, but it does really seem to be working for them, which I'm glad for, because I would rather them give it to studios, like they said in the transmission, who deeply care about these franchises and properties that just let them sit and waste away, And Konami, as we'll talk about later in the state of play, is certainly not doing that because they are unleashing all of those properties, not all of them, but I'm exaggerating, but a lot of those properties that they have been having laid in dormant for a long time now. So I'm really glad for that. If it's given enough support and care. The great thing about this too is that Screenburn has been given what I think it's been 5 years to develop this as a little indie studio. Even as a more indie-ish studio, I feel like that's a great amount of time for them to be able to mark their own kind of name on the Silent Hill franchise. They're obviously huge fans. I think that was very clear from their stories and from the ways that they literally had the games in the studio and the way they talked about it and the lead people talking about how they played it when they were kids. So I have good hopes for this one. I think it'll be more like the Silent Hill I personally want than the Silent Hill we got from Silent Hill F, which I felt was too combat focused for me, and I didn't. I'm sure the story there was very good, but yeah, there's too much combat in there for me personally, even on an easier mode.
yeah. So overall, I'm excited for this game because of I love Annapurna's games generally. I think they're a great publisher. I'm not familiar with Screenbird Interactive, who is developing it, but Annapurna, the name of Annapurna excites me when we first got it revealed. Right, I was like, oh yeah, Annapurna's making a Silent Hill game. That sounds awesome. I really like Konami's strategy of outsourcing other games and franchises to other developers. Sometimes it might not pan out, but in most cases so far, it's been going really well. They brought back Metal Gear Solid now. They brought back Castlevania now, and Silent Hill's been getting a lot of love recently. So it's a good move on their part. They're not like Capcom was making their own games, but their own strategy seems to be working for them, and I'm glad because they're sitting on three amazing IPs plus a bunch of others as well.
Right.
All they were doing was like pachinko machines and Yu-Gi-Oh, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for this game, 100%. The showcase itself wasn't anything to write home about. It was very slow,
No.
a lot of just interviews and stuff like that. But for what we saw of the gameplay, I'm very interested in this. I'm probably day one on it, of course. I mean, Silent Hill. Silent Hill is like my
Yeah.
second favorite horror franchise after Resident Evil in the video game space. So yeah, of course, I was already sold on this game, and I really loved Silent Hill F. The story anyway. The story was incredible. One of the best in the series. One of the best in gaming, really, of last year. The story was so good, but the gameplay definitely let it down a bit. A lot of people didn't click with the gameplay. It was a little very too it was a bit too challenging, and there was too many enemies. I feel like waves of enemies being thrown at you, which is not very Silent Hill. But I respect the ambition and the something different. So it didn't click with everybody, but for the people who did play it, that did get through to it, like the ending and everything, did enjoy the story a lot. So yeah, so I expect the story for this game to be very good, and then we'll see about the gameplay. Gameplay has never been the strength of Silent Hill. Never. No,
No.
not a single
And
game.
even Silent Hill 2, the remake specifically, and I adore that game. I would not say the gameplay is particularly great. It's serviceable. It's fine. It's doable for me personally.
Yes.
But I just love that story so much. I think it's held up very, very well.
Yes, even in Silent Hill 2, the original, gameplay is the worst part of the game. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on to our spotlights. So we have four of them, three of them being full games, one of them being a demo. Let's start with Persona 3, which Dory you already talked about last week, but now you finished it. So this is your final closing thoughts on this game. So what are your pros of this game?
Sure. So I'll talk about my overall feelings for it in
Yeah.
terms of in terms of pros and cons, as opposed to last time where I was just talking about more or less the first third of the game, maybe a little more. So overall, I'll start with pros, of course. The turn-based combat with weaknesses, you've got shifting going to other allies. You've got staff buffs and nullifiers. I almost never use staff buffs and nullifiers, but it's so necessary in this game, especially the ones that debuff your enemies in terms of accuracy. And towards the end, I started even raising my accuracy slash evasion. I almost never do that, but you really have to because some of the attacks the bosses can do in the late game can hit really hard, and you just don't want them hitting you at all if you can help it. So maybe think more tactically than I would. You have this special thing called the Theurgy, which I may have talked about last time. I don't remember, but basically, it's your ultimate attack. Everyone gets two throughout the game, and they're all really cool. And I think that always holds up. The Persona fusions are really cool. They kept being really cool. I didn't use them as much as I went on in the game. I think around the 40 to 50 hour mark, I started doing them significantly less because I was pretty happy with what I had persona wise. But then I realized my personas were very underleveled, even though I myself as a character was not super underleveled. My personas also have a level. So I had to start fusing again. Luckily, I got a really really good fusion. I think it was they acted like it wasn't supposed to happen, but I got a really good fusion that was like level 60 plus something, and then I just used that towards the end of the game. Um, and then yeah, all that stuff remains fun till the end. Basically, it's all really solid stuff. It remains fun and intuitive, and there's a couple of systems that maybe I don't really care for, but in general, the combat's very very good. I'll talk about the ending, but I'll talk about it very generally because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's beautiful. The end. I have very mixed thoughts on the pacing of this game. I feel, and I'll talk about this later. I feel like the game should have been at least 10 hours shorter, or 5 to 10. Now that sounds like a lot, but even when the game is kind of like you feel like you're just going through the motions that you're going through are so good that it's hard for me to complain. Right? Like it's not like the game is shit all of a sudden. It's just like, okay, I've been doing the same damn thing over and over, and I'm just gonna go to sleep to get through the day. I'll talk more about that later. But basically, the good news is going through all that is totally worth it. The ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen in a video game, probably. It's just so ridiculously bittersweet and on every level. If you haven't seen the ending or haven't played Persona, I mean, honestly, I'd partially just recommend it just for the ending because it's that good. I just feel like it just feels so satisfying, and it feels like you get the ending that you realistically should get while still being somewhat happy. I guess that's like the best way I can say it without spoiling anything. But yeah, I was bawling my eyes out. I was crying. The kid was like right on the couch right next to me, and I'm like, I'm gonna be a mess after every single Persona game, aren't I? Um, and I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. But it's very good. An incredible ending to a really good game. I love the end level bosses. They all feel pretty fair. I only died to the second end level boss, and only because the game didn't really explain a mechanic to me very well, or didn't explain it enough. So I died. That sucked. But yeah, I beat the final boss in one try. There were a couple of close calls, let me tell you that. But I did beat it in one try. I'll talk about the difficulty more later, but generally the end level bosses were really cool. Um, I did have this moment during the final boss where I was like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling this design. And then I saw what its eyes looked like, and I'm like, never mind, I'm back in. It's pretty fucking messed up looking, and only gets more messed up looking as you fight it, of course. I thought the villains were great, generally. The group known as Strega, specifically, are very memorable villains that I really liked. I think they were all given good motivations for their actions. They weren't just like evil for the sake of evil. Now, you did have a couple characters who were evil just for the sake of being evil or insane or whatever. But generally speaking, Strega and the final boss, I don't want to say, are like the main stars of the show, and I think they both kind of have good reasons for what they're doing. I don't think they're going to blow your mind or whatever. It's nothing you haven't heard before. The world is full of suffering. If we just kill everybody, the suffering will go away. It's like, well, you're not wrong, but it's like, come on, why are we? How do we get from here to there? Um, I want to shout out some social links that I got in the late parts of the game that I thought were really great. Fuka, who is basically your tech support. She helps you a lot through Tartarus, which is the main dungeon of the game. Akinari, who is a young man who is currently dying of a hereditary disease. That's probably one of my favorite social link in the entire game. Very moving. Aegis, I won't spoil who Aegis is, but she's an important party member. And Chihiro, who is a young girl, I believe 1 year your junior, because you're a second year or something like that. So she's like a freshman, and she has a very moving story about kind of being able to stand on her own. Um, I also think there's a very good romantic relationship that happens in this game. If you've played Persona 3, you probably know who I mean, or what I'm talking about. But there are two characters that get together in kind of the middle of the game, I want to say, maybe three-fourths through the game. And you can kind of help them get back together. And it's very cute. It's been done very well. And the best part is it makes a character that I didn't really like before kind of grow and be a better character. Although sometimes I'm still not a huge fan of them. Um, I I I'm kind of I gotta cop to something. I'm a little bit of a scumbag for this. You can kind of date multiple people in this game. I don't really think you're supposed to, but the game doesn't punish you for doing it. Now, you can get caught, but the way that I did it is that I just maxed out my social relationship with Yuko, and then I started dating Fuka. Now I am like I would prefer if you could talk to everyone involved and like Baldur's Gate 3, right? Be able to get everybody like on the same page and like get everyone's consent. But Persona 3 doesn't roll like that. So like I couldn't. So I felt kind of like an asshole, but I really wanted to date Fuka too. So I ended up dating two different people. I know I'm a bad person. I felt very icky while I was doing it, if that makes anybody feel better. But yeah. And if that's how I am about pixels, you can only imagine how I'm about real life. But yeah, I appreciate at least that you can do that. But you can get caught too, which is very funny. I've seen some screenshots of you getting caught, like on Christmas or something like that, with like multiple girls or something, or like, hey, what the hell's going on? But the thing is, you can max out everyone's social relationship, and then you don't lose anything. So there's ways around it, and you can build it back up too. the activities get more varied towards the end of the game. There was more social links, there was more places you could go, requests you could fulfill, things you could do. So it got better. I remember when I was talking last that I was in a little bit of a funk because I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm just going through the motions right now. And that was in like the 20-ish hour mark. I don't remember exactly where. Um, but yeah, it does get better. Last couple notes are stuff I've already said, but the animated cutscenes continue to be excellent throughout. The final FMV or animated cutscene just tore me apart emotionally. I was not okay. So very good. The soundtrack also gets a new few songs that towards the middle half that I think are really good. I don't know that they're as good as like the initial songs that I heard, but they're really good. Seb, anything you want to ask about any of that?
No, because I'm familiar with the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'll move on to cons. So I already talked about this a little bit. By the last 10 hours, I was just checked out. The game really should have been like 40 to 50 hour. It just doesn't feel like there's enough content here to really support that. There's a couple reasons for that I'll get into. But I started skipping school dialogue. I started skipping fodder enemies. I just went to sleep at night. I was just like, I just want this to be done. Like
That's
I'm
usually
good
how it
on this game.
goes.
Like,
Persona games, after a while,
yeah,
they go on
yeah.
too long.
Yeah, even metaphor, which I think a lot of people would say is pretty much the platonic ideal of a persona. Like, obviously you can argue that or Persona 5. Even that, I think in the last week or two, I had that feeling of like, okay, I just want this to be done because like I'm good. But that was like 60 or 70 hours in. I put like
Yeah,
70 hours into metaphor. I
I
love that game.
I had that feeling too, and that was my game of the year. So it's just part of
Yes,
those games,
yes,
unfortunately.
I agree. I agree. I think it's a like we talk about with roguelikes where things can get a little repetitive or
Yeah,
you can get frustrated because you randomly don't get a good run time after time. It's just part of the genre. You just gotta kind of accept it, unfortunately. It's it's kind of like a life sim, honestly. Another one of my complaints, and this might be a little less obvious unless you really play it. XP spread is very uneven. The fodder enemies just don't matter in Tartarus. There's really no point in fighting them. Uh, you can fight them, and you'll get some cards if you do, and you beat them in a certain way by using weaknesses or all out attacks, which are also two other mechanics I forgot to mention. But or the all out attack. And yeah, when you like basically when you knock an enemy over, everybody can attack at once. I think I mentioned that last episode. But basically, it's just pointless to fight the fodder enemies, and I realized that about halfway through the game. Like the experience you get is paltry. Like I'll get like 35,000 XP from a gatekeeper boss, and I'll gain like 1 or 2 levels, and then I'll get like 500 XP from a fodder enemy, and I'm like, what's the point? Like, why would I do that? So it just doesn't make any sense to grind in this game. There are other reasons for that too, but it's good that it makes grinding unnecessary, but I'm not really sure that's what they were intending. Because it really seems like they want you to fight the shadows, that they being the game devs. Like it feels like P Team wants you to fight the shadows, but you just don't have a good reason to, unless they're a rare shadow or a particularly tough shadow with the kind of dreaded aura around them. Otherwise, you just fight the gatekeepers and the main bosses, and you're fine. You're going to get all the levels you need. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's not all bad, but it's not all good either. Um, I already talked about this. Getting to the ending was worth it, but I do think some plot points could have been dropped to trim the story a little bit. I beat it in 60-ish hours. How long to beat has it at 64 and a half, so I definitely, like I said, started rolling through it towards the end there. Um, and then it's 80 plus hours for main story and sides, which is nuts because I feel like I did a lot of side stuff. I didn't get all the achievements, but that would be 100%. So I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, I didn't do a lot of Elizabeth's quest, so maybe that's what it was. Um I do feel like there's one too many villains by the end of the game. This is kind of relates back to my last point. I just feel like there's too much going on. A couple of plot points could have been dropped, and we could have streamlined the game that way. Uh, Tartarus doesn't end on an even number, or it doesn't end on like level 300 or whatever, right? Like it doesn't end on a very satisfying number. It just ends on a completely random number. And the whole time I'm like, I wonder, like, is it going to end on 200, 250, 270? Like, it's got to be some meaningful number. And no, basically the number is like 256. I'm like, what the fuck? That's such a random number. Like y'all designed the game. Like, why isn't this ending at like 250 or 300 or something? Anyway, I did feel like some of the mechanisms are poorly explained. I already mentioned this, but I died to a late game boss because I didn't understand it. Um, One of the problems with the game is it's going to tell you over and over again, well, you can always go back to the entrance if you're feeling overwhelmed. You don't have to do this all in one night. Hey, you want to use that teleporter to go back to the entrance? You don't need it. You just don't need it. The game's not that hard. It's honestly, this is my first Persona game. This is one of the easiest JRPGs I've ever played, and there's not random difficulty spikes, which I appreciate, but it just feels like it just feels very handholdy in a way I don't like because it's just unnecessary. Again, it feels like the game has in mind some other game where the fodder enemies give you a lot of XP and they're really difficult and you're going to be using a lot of your resources. But if you're smart about how you manage your SP and HP, I was able to beat every single floor of Tartarus. It's in sections, but I was able to beat every section up to the border floor in one night, every single time. I never had to go back to the entrance. I never had to quit. I got close a couple of times towards the end, but I mean, the game is just it's kind of ridiculous. It's acting like it's fucking Dark Souls, and I'm like, you're not you're not that tough. You're not that tough. Um, but yeah, it just feels like the game wants me to parse it out through every night and use Tartarus to grind, but it doesn't make sense to do that unless you keep finding rare shadows or you keep finding shadows that are particularly tough. It just makes it kind of a silly idea to do that. Um, because I kept beating Tartarus in like one night or every section that I could beat, the game kind of felt like 80% social links and 20% gameplay. It just felt really uneven. I would go weeks, sometimes months in game without touching the turn-based combat. And like I get it, Persona is a social game to some extent, right? So that's fine if it's not a 50-50 split. But I mean, I'm not talking 60-40. I'm talking an easy 80-20 here. And it just felt like, oh, like where is Tartarus? When is that going to come back? When is that going to be? Because again, it doesn't make any sense to go into Tartarus and grind. Like the gatekeepers are gone. You can't fight them again. You do get these doors that lead to um, powerful enemies, but I got tired of doing that towards the end of the game. It just didn't make any sense. Uh, so obviously it was my choice to do Charteris in one night every time, but I wanted to push myself, see how far I could go. So I mean, that's what I get, but I feel like the game should compensate. I talked about this last time. The last two are kind of the same as last time, but the soundtrack, total banger, but too many songs get played way too often. I have heard the same song for like 60 plus hours, and I'm like, I feel like we can mix it up. The game does introduce a few new songs, and especially in the last month of play, the soundtrack gets real fucking sad. But yeah, Persona gets really dark if you didn't know. But yeah, um, and then yeah, Seb mentioned this last time. Some social links are just kind of silly to unlock. Like you just wouldn't know how to organically do it unless you look it up. Like I had to look up how the heck I was supposed to uh, become social with Fuka. And I found out that you have to join a club, a very specific club, not just any club, and then make a social acquaintance with this other guy who's totally not unrelated to her because she's also in the art club. But yeah, I don't know. It was just weird. And that's it. That's pretty much everything. Everything I experienced playing Persona 3 in the cons.
All right. So what would you give this game overall?
Yeah, I would give it like a 9 out of 10 or like a weak like 4.5 out of 5. It's an excellent game. It's hindered by some pacing issues, but I mean the finale of the game is so fucking good that like I can't even complain. I feel like I went through all of that for something. So, that was awesome.
All right. Ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. So the next game we're going to talk about is Reanimal, which just came out yesterday. So it goes to show you how short it is, considering I already beat it. Uh, but what is Reanimal? It is a horror adventure game from the creators of Little Nightmares. weird story is they worked on the Reanimal, and Supermassive took over Little Nightmares 3, which ended up being a disappointment for a lot of people. It was a decent game, pretty solid. I didn't think it was horrible, but I didn't think it was great either. Um, this one definitely better than Little Nightmares 3 for sure. But very familiar. Familiar. It had similar issues to Little Nightmares 3, where it was like more of the same. For example, you guide two children trying to save their friends on a like surreal, nightmare-fueled, hostile island, and it blends stealth, light puzzles, tense moments of escape, and creepy set pieces. So, what are the pros of this game? Well, first of all, the atmosphere in this game is incredible. It is by far one of the best games ever for atmosphere. This game just oozes atmosphere. Everything about this game is unsettling. Every environment you venture into is really cool to look at. This game has amazing environmental storytelling. There's bodies everywhere. There's creatures everywhere. There's various set pieces. Like you ride on a boat, and you end up in a lighthouse section. You end up in a factory section. You end up in a battlefield. There's a variety of sections, and they were all really cool to look at. They're very cinematic. This game feels bigger and better than the first two Little Nightmare games. This feels like a bigger budgeted Little Nightmares. Is the best way I could describe this game. This is probably the most AAA of this. This is not part of the Little Nightmare franchise, but it basically is a spiritual successor. This feels like the a one with bigger budget. Is the best way I would describe it. This game has really unique creature designs. I think the best way to compare it, best thing to compare it to would be the Thing, where like animals get deformed into monsters. This game is full of animal monsters. So there's a demonic goat. There's a demonic. Oh, well, it's a sheep rather. Demonic pelican. There's wow. What else is there? Well, there's also like demonic people. Like it's like skinwalker people. Like even the body, they're like bodies. Like they take off their skin, and the skin like moves like a snake. It's very creepy.
That does sound creepy.
Yeah, and like there's a lot of like fat bodies everywhere, and like the ice cream man can like teleport into the bodies. Like he can dive into their bodies and like teleport anywhere in the world. So like that was crazy. This game has a really awesome cinematography. I think that some of the camera angles at times really add to the tension. Like they really capture like the right angle to do. Like there's like one section where you're getting chased by like this giant spider monster, and you have to run up the stairs like circular, and the camera angle really adds to the tension. Like you can see everything going on. I think that was really cool. The camera angle does it. This camera does have some issues, which I'll talk about in the cons, but at times the camera is really well done. I think this game has a really great pace to it. Like there's no complicated puzzles. Like it's very simple, and it gets right from point A to point B consistently. Like the puzzles are very simple. Like twist the wheel, hit buttons in the right order, kind of thing. It's nothing hard. I really didn't have to look anything up. Maybe one time I had to look something up. At times, like they want you to go like in between a wall, and it's kind of hard to find, or you might have to backtrack a little bit, but for the most part the pacing in this game is really strong. Like this game is consistently really entertaining. Like this game is something you can play in one sitting because it's so good in terms of the pacing and the horror and the atmosphere and all that. Like it will keep you going. You're like, what the heck's going on? I want to know more. This game will literally keep you glued to the screen. The storytelling, like I said, is done through the horror visuals. This game has amazing environmental storytelling. Like I said, the concept of the story is very interesting. I do have issues with the story overall, but the concept itself was really cool. Yeah, so if you like Little Nightmares or you like the style of gameplay, this is the game for you. Like, this is gonna be one of your best indie games of the year. Like, this game is fantastic. If you don't like Little Nightmares, I would not recommend this game. It's pretty much more of the same. It's the children with creepy masks on, venturing into a creepy environment with demonic, disturbing looking monsters who are all trying to eat you. And yes, this game is graphic. If your character gets kidnapped, they'll bite your head off, and it's a child. Like, they don't pull any punches. If you're squeamish, if you're it's not like blood or anything like that. It's more of like just like body horror. A lot of body horror. This game is chock full of body horror, and some flashing, I guess, if you have epilepsy or something like that. But really, this game is not for people who are squeamish. This is like The Thing. If you can handle The Thing, you can handle this game. If you can't, don't play this game. Any questions about the pros?
It sure does sound like Little Nightmares, but just a
Mm-hmm.
little darker and a little richer in the blood and the gore, because they're kind
Yeah.
of probably more allowed to do that now that they're doing it on their own, question mark, or under a different publisher. I can't remember. I think they're doing it on their own through self-publishing or whatever. I know it's all complicated and shit, but uh but basically, yeah, it sounds like Little Nightmares, but just a little
Well,
more of
well,
Little Nightmares.
well, they're part of this game is published by THQ Nordic, so it's definitely part of a big publisher. So it's not really indie. I use the term indie, but it really isn't indie. It's own. It's
Sure. It feels like an indie game. I mean,
yeah.
if you showed someone like this, someone this kind of game, they'd be like, "Oh, that's an indie game." But yeah, I get what you're saying. But yeah, I don't have any questions about the pros. I mean, it makes sense to me. I'm glad that it has a great pace at least. But you know, we'll talk about, like, it sounds like it's short and the price tag isn't a great selling price. Although, what do I know? They've sold millions of copies, so
Yeah. Um, One of the biggest problems with the game is the story is too vague. Now, I don't need the story spelled out for me. Like, I'm not one of those people that needs everything to be simple and all that. But this game, even for me, who's like very analytical, I'm an English major, English teacher, and that kind of thing. Honestly, the story was just too vague. It didn't really explain anything at the ending. They really went for a twist at the end. There's a major twist at the end. Like, really supposed to hit harder than it did, because it was so confusing. Um, it just felt like Little Nightmares 3 in terms of, like, it was just a mix of different settings all jumbled together. So, like, it's a really cool, like, experience as a gamer, but the story itself was like, yeah, just lacking. I think it just didn't hit like it could have, overall. It was just very vague. Like, it just didn't explain anything. You know, in video games, they just don't explain anything. They kind of just let the environment tell you everything. But then you end up like leave. You just end up, at the end, like, confused. Like, you're not really satisfied. Really, you're kind of just like, hmm.
yeah.
Well, I guess that happened. I think I mostly get it. I suppose I get. I mean, I get. I don't know if it's open to interpretation. I can't even tell you what I was spoiling it, of course, but it's it's gonna leave people wondering, like, what the heck happened. I'm sure, like, the first thing I did after beating it was looking up, like, people's interpretations of the ending, because I was like, am I understanding what I'm seeing? And it has something to do with sacrifice and demons and, like, something like that. I don't know if it's a fictional world. It's confusing because it mixes, like, modern world with World War I and World War II. Like, when you're in the beginning of the game, like in certain sections, like, you see computers and things like that. But then the whole game has, like, this World War I 1940s setting vibe to it, where, like, everything looks old fashioned. Like, the movie theater has a film playing, and it's like a regular. It's not like digital film. It's like old school camera. And then it's like these soldiers are all like World War I soldiers, and like when you're in a battlefield and you're like in the trenches, and it feels like World War I or II, and it's just a weird mix of different settings. So the story was just confusing. This is not a major con, and I wouldn't dock points off for this, but don't expect this game to be any different than the previous games that they've made. It's Little Nightmares. It's the exact same gameplay. The game. I would say the combat's a little better. Like there is some combat sections where creatures run at you and they jump on your partner, and you have to swing at them with a crowbar and things like that. But it's not anything major. It's very simple, very simple. This is a co-op game, to be clear. I think the AI for the most part was fine. Like in fact, I thought the AI was pretty useful because it told me where to go. Like if there was a section where I had to hide under a table or something, the AI knew where to go. Because sometimes in this game it's very confusing where to go, and you die just from that. It's like trial and error. Because like they want me to hide under the table, but they don't make it clear where to go, and so the AI does that for me. So in that case, the AI was actually pretty good. There was some times where the AI was janky and would not go where I wanted to go. I was holding the door for her to for her to come to me, and she wouldn't go. And then she'd be like, "Oh yeah," and then come up to me. But for the most part, it was fun. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Again, I wouldn't not major, but it's another Little Nightmares game in terms of like it's children with creepy masks on. You're collecting masks again, and like all the monsters are like these fat slob things again. It's like I feel like I played this game already 3 times. Now I'll still keep playing them because I really enjoy them. But it is there. It's more of the same. I don't expect anything monumental in terms of gameplay or revolutionizing what kind of games they made. I would think they would be sick of making this kind of game. Maybe after this they do something new because they've made this game 3 times now. No, this one's bigger and better, and this is the best version of the three, I guess. But it's kind of time to do something different. I mean, how many times is the characters going to be like kids with masks on? It's just I don't know. You want to do something different, I would think. But again, I'm not taking points off for that. It's just there. Like if you're tired of like Little Nightmares, you're not interested in this kind of game. You've done it 3 times already. You might be burned out from it, but it doesn't bother me personally because it's only 3 hour games. Um, the fixed camera angles when it's done really well, it looks amazing. The cinematography and all that, but sometimes it's confusing where to go. I die several times because the camera wants me to go one way and I don't know where they want me to go, and I'm running from an enemy that's trying to kill me, and I don't have no idea where I'm supposed to run off to, and I've died a couple times just from the camera. Uh, so the camera has some issues for sure. I've had this issue at Little Nightmares as well. There's some jankiness. The characters get stuck in a door. The AI doesn't always respond to me. Objects bounce around weirdly. Nothing major, like nothing that broke my game. It didn't crash or anything like that. The frame rate was very stable. The performance of this game was fantastic. I had zero issues with that. I would have liked ultra wide support. I didn't like that it had bars on the side of my screen, but again, that's not a major thing. But the jankiness is there. It felt a little like that's why I felt like it was an indie game. I know it's published by THQ Nordic, but it felt like an indie game in that regard. Um, but I think the biggest problem for this game, outside the story, is just the price tag. It's a $40 game for a 3.5 to 4 hour game. This is a game I would say wait for a sale unless you really want it. I didn't. I'll be clear. My Steam family was in my Steam family, so I didn't have to buy it. So I was glad I didn't have to pay $40 for it.
And I
Because
wasn't the one who bought it, so it's somebody else.
yeah, so I'm very happy about that, and I appreciate it. I'm very appreciative of it. Um, but yeah, this is a 3.5 hour to 4 hour game. You could beat this game in one sitting, and you probably will. If not one, 2 sittings. I beat it in 2 sittings. I played half of it yesterday and half of it today, and because the pacing is so good in this game. But yeah, I had $40 price tag for this is steep. I would wait for a sale personally. The Little Nightmares 1 and 2 were like $40 too, though, and they sold 20 million copies. So I get it, and they're gonna keep selling well, and it's not gonna drop in price because people buy it. And I'm one of those people because I did buy the first 3 Little Nightmares games, but it's there. Wait for a sale. So overall, cons.
What would you give it overall?
So overall, I would say 8.5 out of 10. I think it's gonna be one of my best indies of the year. Oh, no, I want to keep saying indies. I was not even an indie game. It's gonna be one of my. It might be my top 10 by the end of the year. But this year's so stacked, probably not. But it might.
Yeah.
This feels like an honorable mention. I will say. It's just so short. How long? How my question for this game is how much is going to stay in my head by the end of the year, right? You mean was this a really memorable experience where I'm going to like think about when we do our top 10 list, like, oh, that game was so freaking good, I have to have that on my list. Uh I wouldn't say that, but it was a really good game. If you like horror, this game is for you. I think most horror fans will really like this game. I would for you, I you don't like these kind of games, but I think I would recommend this to you because the puzzles are so easy and the pacing is so good. So you can just get through. It's not like Inside or Limbo or something where it's like, a bunch of platforming puzzles and you have to figure out how to like jump over the saw or that kind of thing. It's nothing like that. It's all like environmental storytelling. It's all cinematography. It's like go to
Yeah.
from point A to point B. So if I was you, I would just try it, see how you like it for like an hour, and then
Yeah.
go from there. So I actually can recommend this to you. But if you're a horror fan, this game's for you. I think this game is really good. Just wait for a sale. Like this game is worth playing. This is a must play if you like this genre. Just wait for a sale is what I'm saying. All right. Any more questions? Or are you ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. So Dory, you played the Replace demo, which is a game we're both excited for, and it's coming out next month, I
Yes.
believe. So can you tell us about the
I
demo,
believe that's
please?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the demo's really quick. I promise this won't be like a 20-minute segment. I'm probably going to talk about this for 5 minutes and we'll move on. But Replace demo. So Replace is a 2.5D side-scrolling. Uh, it has combat and platforming. I hesitate to call it a beat 'em up, but it's got some combat and it's got some mild platforming and very mild puzzles. For what I saw, it's a 20-minute demo, so I can't really judge it. It apparently also has side quests if you listen to the IGN preview. So yeah, let me get into the pros. I don't have many cons, just as a heads up. It's a very short demo, so there's not a lot I could dislike about it, but there's a lot I liked. So it was good. You've probably already heard people say that the combat is Arkham. It is Arkham. I mean, it just is Arkham. And I know comparison can be the thief of joy and stuff, but I would affectionately compare this to Arkham. It gave me like the good memories of playing Arkham and doing that combat and stuff like that. The counters feel very fluid. The punches feel very good and consistent. Hitboxes feel fair. Your finisher looks really fucking cool. Maybe I'll get tired of it after a few hours, but it looks really cool. Your finisher, by the way, is just a gun. So you'll do a couple of moves that really hurt the enemies, kind of like in Arkham. And then but unlike in Arkham, you'll finish them off with like a shot to the head, right? So good shit. Um, and then you can also fire your gun from afar if you just want to like pop one off and then go back to fighting another opponent who's closer to you. One of the biggest pros about this game, and this should be no surprise to anyone who's watched any of the trailers, the environments are wild. This is one of the most insanely detailed indie games I've ever seen in my life. It is incredibly lush, beautiful 2D pixels, just a lovely looking game on every front. Everything looks designed well enough that you can tell what it is, but not so overly pixelated that it's a mess. It just feels really good and it looks really good. Um, when you do rolls and you do counters and stuff like that, I feel like the iframes are very generous, but they don't feel overly generous. So that feels very balanced. The because it's 2.5, you have kind of a dynamic here where you can go up and down stairs and kind of go away from the screen and towards the screen, if you will, which adds a little bit of exploration and notes and stuff. The setting seems very interesting. There is a physical module that you, the main character Warren, are able to look at notes and stuff. I like how that is done. Feels very analog or mechanical, physical. But I didn't look over any of the notes except the ones you pick up in the demo because I mean I'm gonna pick them up when I play the game, so why would I do that? Uh, and then the music from what I heard was really good. Just a very solid techno sound led soundtrack. Anything you want to ask or make questions about?
So it played a lot like Batman, like for sure.
I would say so, yeah. I you know, I wouldn't say it's like a 1-to-1, but it's pretty dang close. You've got your counterattack, you've got the strikes and kicks and stuff remind me kind of like Batman. Yeah, it's basically Arkham.
Same button layout too.
I don't know about that, but it felt very similar. It's like I think it's X to attack. I don't remember the button layout,
Yeah.
but it was like wide. I remember it was Y to counterattack. I believe it was X to attack. Press A in a direction to do a roll, that kind of thing.
How much 3D did it have? Like how much was like 2.5? Like
Uh,
like
yeah.
what's 3D about it rather? Like what was 3D about it?
Sure. I mean, it's just the 3D aspect is mostly like you going up and down stairs, like you going towards the screen and up the screen, so you can move along the 2D space, which I guess makes it feel more 3D, but it's 2.5. Um, so yeah, that was fun.
Gotcha. Did it get any story elements in the demo? Like was there anything
No,
introduction to the
like
character?
very very little. Like the AI that's inhabiting your brain kind of gives you the debrief, you the player or Warren, of what's going on and why you're where you are. Basically, you're on the run from get ready for this, everybody. An evil corporation in a cyberpunk future. So you've got to escape, and you've got to get your wits back about you, and to gather some allies so you can go right back to where you started, so you can storm the corporation and
Yeah.
shut them down.
That always seems
Basically,
to be like the
yeah.
only story they do in cyberpunk settings.
I know. It's very, and that's one of my cons. One of my very few cons is like this story feels very by the numbers, but
Not that
also it's a 20-minute demo.
yeah.
I'm not gonna judge it based on that.
Not that we're like against making corporations look
No,
bad. Like
no, absolutely
it's a
not.
good thing.
It absolutely is a good thing. Yeah.
All right,
Um,
cons. All right,
yeah,
about the cons.
cons. It's a short demo. I wanted more. It's a 20-ish minute demo. If you look at the IGN video, it's like 22 minutes it takes them to beat. I just wish there was more, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm just glad we got a demo. Looking at you, Capcom, and but it's hard to give full impressions. One thing I can say is that the platforming feels very just there. It feels very rudimentary. It just feels like it's getting you from point A to point B, and that's not bad, but it sticks out, I guess. If I had to say something, if I had to be nitpicky, I'd probably talk about the platforming, but it's not bad at all.
What is the
It's just
platforming in this
serviceable.
game? What is it like?
It's just moving boxes around, jumping up on things, jumping to things, a little bit of swinging. It's very basic,
Is
very,
it
very basic.
is it easy to, like fall off or is it pretty good?
I didn't have a single problem.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I'm good, the average player is probably
Because
good because
sometimes in
platforming is
these
not my
because
forte.
sometimes in these platformers or 2D games or something like that, like the hitbox of the edge of the cliff is
Yeah,
wrong and is not right, and then it messes with
right.
but this game is
No,
fine.
for sure. I mean, for the 20 minutes I played it, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember the IGN review did say that there were some sections that felt a little wonky in the platforming. So maybe that'll happen later on. There
Mm.
was also some stealth sections. I wouldn't say I disliked them, but they were very slow moving, but that's what a stealth section is. So it just kind of felt weird because you'd fight like 10 or 15 people one on one, like all by yourself. And then suddenly you'd have to walk really slow because this guy is sniping at you. And
Is
it's like, can I just make a run for it?
is it essentially like a spotlight just moving left and right and you
Yeah.
just dodge a
Yeah.
spotlight? Yeah.
And I luckily I did it in one try, so I have no idea how bad the
Yeah.
checkpoints would have
Cuz
been, or if
yeah.
it's insta kill or what.
That's essentially how Reanimal stealth was, where it's just like the creature looks to the left, you go right, and then yeah.
Yeah. And then Seb and I literally just talked about this, but the whole plot about a corrupt corporation and a cyberpunk future with an errant AI just feels like it's been done a million times. But look, I only played 20 minutes of the demo, so I can't really be mad about it.
Yeah. So, are you did this game make you more hyped for it, or is it about the
A little
same?
bit. A little
Okay.
bit. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm more greatly hyped, but now that I've gotten a feel for the combat and I know it's good, as opposed to people just saying, "Oh my god, it's like Arkham, it's so good," and I'm like, "Okay, sure," because that's super weird. Like, you don't see a lot of Arkham style combat games. It's mostly a lot of games these days seem to rely on parrying more than counterattacking, right?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think this may be slightly more hype. I was already day one, so I can't be any more day one. But yeah, it's a great demo, and it made me just a little bit more hyped for the game.
Yeah, this whole time we were calling Reanimal an indie game, which it probably isn't. So this is like the true biggest indie game of the year. I feel like this is the indie game everybody keeps talking about the most.
Yeah, it's
So
been delayed so many times for understandable reasons, as we've talked about, um, because literally the developers are going through a war. So the fact this game is coming out at all is incredible. But yeah, it's really good. And you know what? Let's hot take. Let's start causing more wars and see more banger games going. I'm kidding. But that's my accelerationist theory for the gaming industry. Let's just make it way worse so we can get better games. But seriously, this was good. This is a good demo. I'm excited to play Replaced when it comes out next month. I think it comes out in March.
I think it's the
That's
12th.
what I want to.
I want to say the
Yeah,
12th. I think it was the 12th.
that sounds right. That sounds right.
Just double check for
Yes,
me.
yes.
Okay, yeah. All right. Let's move on to the last spotlight of the night, which is Nioh 3, which is an action role playing game where players fight through challenging enemies and bosses using a mix of melee weapons, magic, and agility. It is set in a dark fantasy version of Japan. The game combines fast paced combat with deep character customization and strategic gameplay. So, Nioh 3 is a sequel to the Nioh games, of course. And the biggest difference for this game, it's open world, and you can be a ninja instead of just a samurai. You can be both. You can switch between, with a press of a button, you can switch between a samurai build and a ninja build. And you can mix and match which one you like more. So, where's the pros of this game? First of all, the combat. The combat in this game is fantastic. It feels tight, it feels rewarding. The ability to switch between ninja and samurai feels really nice. Like I said, click of a button. And you can change your tactics, you can change your feel. Obviously, it's kind of like Assassin's Creed last year, where you played as like the samurai guy who was like a more of a tank build and slower, and then you had the ninja build, and with the woman, and this game's the same way, right? It's like the ninja build is obviously more fast and agile, and you're gonna be doing more dodges. Why the samurai gets more of a tank build with three. You get the stances like all the other Neo games, right? You can do a high stance, a low stance, mid stance, right? And then while the ninja uh, form gets like shurikens and like you get to use spells and ninjutsu and stuff like that. So you get the mix and match. There's magic in this game, stuff like that. So you get the. I really enjoyed the switching between the two of them. This game does a great job getting away from the strict linear levels of the first two games, where it's like you just do missions and then they put you in the same mission over and over again. It feels like sometimes they'll put like in the previous games they would put you in a mission, you do it, and then like later on they send you like a demonic version of the same mission and it just feels like you did the same thing again just to like pad out the game. That was always one of the biggest criticisms of the Neo series. Is like you just feel like you're doing the same mission over and over again. Not this game. This game is open world. It's not like gigantic open world. I wouldn't say it's like Horizon or God of War. Well, not a God of War. Horizon levels or nothing like Skyrim or anything like that. But it's definitely bigger. There's a lot of different locales and different environments. There's times you're in your cave, you're in a forest, you're in like hell, basically, like this demonic world, and it feels like Ghost of Tsushima, basically. I would say like a smaller version of Ghost of Tsushima. So that was nice. I've actually enjoyed the open world of this game, and the fast travel in this game is very nice. You get to a shrine, you unlock it, and you can fast travel to wherever you want, and so that's good. There's quality of life improvements in this game. There's new systems like being easier respecs. The menus are clearer. Uh, there's useful progression tweaks. Everything about this game is a lot more smooth than the previous games. I think the UI and the main menus for me are much better than the previous games. There's a lot of content in this game. There's a lot of weapons, different builds, there's different enemies. There's a lot of side missions and activities. There's plenty of replayability. You can play a lot. You can put over 100 hours in this game probably if you really wanted to. So if you like these kind of long, layered games, this is for you. It's a Souls game. Just be mindful of that. It's a very hard game. The boss fights and the enemy encounters are designed to punish mistakes, but like most of these games, when you finally beat that boss, it's very rewarding. It's satisfying. That's like the whole point of the Souls genre. Is like you finally overcome your goal. Like you overcome your obstacle. Whether it takes hours or maybe you did it in the first try, but the point is you feel that sense of reward. Like you went back, you went to grow grind, you went to get a better build, change your build, get a different armor set. It makes you a better player. You get better at timing and patience and parrying. It makes you Souls games make you a better gamer in the sense that it teaches you those kind of things, like learning enemy AI and patience, which a lot of gamers don't have. This game is a Souls game, purely a Souls game. Um, so if you're not into this genre, cannot recommend it. Nioh is a hard series, very hard series, definitely one of the hardest, and I don't think this game has any accessibility options. I don't recall like a difficulty or anything like that. Maybe there's just actually that's a good question. I wonder if it does have accessibility. So while I'm looking that up, any questions about the pros?
No, no questions. Like, this I already know this is game not for me. I don't really like games like this. But yeah, I'm glad you had a great time with it, or at least it sounds like you had a great time with it so far. We'll see how you feel about the cons.
Yeah, I guess the accessibility is the sense is that like, you can. It's kind of like Elden Ring, where you don't have to go to one part of the map. You can go explore, get better, and grind, level up in another area, and then come back. You don't have to go right to your main mission. You can explore wherever you want. So it's like it kind of has like the Elden Ring style of gameplay, which and it does it really well. All right, so the cons of this game. Well, first of all, the difficulty. It's not going to be for everybody. Like there is no difficulty sliders. There is no. There's just a skill gap with this game. It's like either you can play it or you can't. Maybe in the future they'll fix. They'll no, I want to say fixed. They'll make it more accessible. They did that with Kazan. Right, Kazan was really hard. Then they made it easy mode, and then they did like Liza P was hard, and then they gave it an easy mode. And I think that would Dory, you said you're going to play Liza P potentially in the future because they added that, right?
Right.
This game doesn't
Yep.
have that. It's not a con to me because I play Souls games. I just think it's worthy of mentioning that it's not for everybody. So it's not like a con per se. It's just more of like just being mindful. This game is not for everybody. You have to like this genre. But my real one main con I have this game though is the performance and the visuals. The performance I have no issues. It's been 60 frames, stable, never had a problem. But I have a 4080 PC. If you have less than that, you might have issues. I don't know. I've heard some things that people have had some issues with their PC version of this game. So miles may vary, but one thing I do have a problem with this game is the visuals. I think the visuals of this game are not great. They just look off. There's blurriness to it. The colors are a little off. It doesn't pop like Ghost of Tsushima and this game, obviously both being in Japan, have a similar setting, similar way all the buildings look and the characters, and it's a more ancient Japan setting. But in that game, Ghost of Tsushima, the colors really pop, right? Like and Ghost of Yotai too, right? Like the leaves of the trees and all that, the grass, the way it flows, it's gorgeous. Like that's arguably the best part of Ghost of Tsushima, right? Is how beautiful that game looks. And Ghost of Yotai was the same way, right, Dory? I haven't played Yotai yet, but was the visuals incredible in Yotai? Like everything, the way everything
Yeah,
looks.
yeah. When I played Yotai, yeah, like that opening cinematic just fucking had my jaw on the
Yeah,
floor. And even long after that, I
yeah,
was constantly impressed by it.
yeah. This game doesn't have that. It's lacking in terms of the visuals. Not that it's bad. It's just it feels like a step down in terms of a first party Sony game. It's not that. That's not really the point of the game. It's not trying to tell you a cinematic story. It's a Souls game after all, but it's there. You'll notice it. It just looks a little off. I would say the visuals. The second biggest problem I have with this game is the loot. There's just too much managing gear in this game. You get too much armor in this game, and I'm constantly changing my armor to get the better one over and over and over and over and over. It gets tedious and overwhelming at times. Like I get tired of changing my gear, then I end up changing my gear to something I don't like the way it looks, but the stats are better. But I have to do it because the stats are better, and I need it to fight the really hard bosses. So I didn't really care for the menu and the inventory busy work in this game. My last con of this game is the story. The story is not bad, but it's incredibly forgettable. I mean, how many times can we do the same story in ancient Japan? Someone's master gets killed, or everybody's living peacefully, and then demons show up, and master gets killed, or like someone betrays you, like a rival, like wants power, or he's jealous or something like that, and then he wants power. He betrays his whole dojo, and I feel like I've seen this almost every game, right? Assassin's Creed did it with
Very tropish.
Ghost of Tsushima, right? The Ghost of
Ghost
Yotai
of Yotai,
was a
to be
revenge
totally
story.
fair,
Was a revenge story.
even though I love the way they did it, it is very tropish.
Yeah. So it's not like a major con, but don't expect this game to have an incredible story. It's just whatever. I don't think anyone plays Nioh games for the story anyway. So I think it's just kind of forgettable. All right, so that's my cons. Dory, any questions about the cons?
No, I don't have any cons. Those all make sense to me.
Yeah. So I don't have any major cons. So the really, when it comes down to this game is a 9 out of 10 for me. This is a must-play game if you're a Souls fan. I think this is a game of the year. I don't want to say game of the year contender yet, but I can see this game being my top 10 at the end of the year. Maybe, maybe not. Right? Kazan was in my top 10 last year, and I think this game probably will be in that conversation all year. It's a 9 out of 10, very comfortable. Could be a top 10 game for me for sure. I think this game is that good, and I recommend everybody play it. It got like in the 80s, a Metacritic, I believe. So go check it out if you like the Nioh game. At this point, if you follow the gaming industry like we do, you probably already know what Nioh is and what it's about. This is the third game in the franchise. I mean, at this point, Sony advertises the hell out of it. You know what you're getting into. I don't have to tell you. It's a hard series. If you like that difficulty, it's for you. If you don't like that difficulty, just avoid it. This game I do think is worth the price tag. I think $70 is a fair price for this game. It's a very huge game, a lot of content. But I got it for cheaper because being on PC, you can buy a Steam key. I got it for like 50 something, so even better deal. So go play it. Awesome game. And yeah. All right, so that is our spotlights. We played a variety of games this week, and now we shift our focus to the main topic of the night. And what topic is probably going to be very big, the state of play that we had on Thursday. Now, the state of play was one of the best state of plays we've ever had. In fact, I would maybe argue that it's the best we ever had. Because this didn't really feel like a state of play. State of play has always been like smaller games, very like more on the shorter side. Usually indie games. Maybe they'll have like Resident Evil or something in there, but not really. It's usually like smaller indie games or AA games they want to advertise. But no, this was a true PlayStation showcase. Like they had a ton of first party, which we'll talk about. So we're gonna go in order of the whole show. All right. If there's some games we have nothing to say, we'll just fly through it. We'll just say, oh, we don't have no comment, and we'll move on. So this topic is not going to be 90 minutes long either. We're not going to go in full detail every single game. All right. So let's start with the very first game that they showed, which was Kena.
Yeah.
Scars of Kosmora. I don't know how to say it, but it's cool.
Kasmora, yeah.
Kena 2. this was a huge surprise. What a great way to start off the show. I didn't expect them to go to do a
Yeah.
second one. I heard that they weren't making any more games. I'm pretty sure that's what they said or something like that. And but no, this game is not just a sequel, but like it looks bigger and better. And that game, the first game already looked like a gorgeous Pixar movie, and this game obviously they probably have more of a Sony budget, even more so. I think Sony trusts them even more, and it's coming to PC day one, I believe as well. So I'm gonna get that
Yep.
on PC. This game looks gorgeous. Like this is day one for me. I mean, I loved Kana. I have some issues with Kana, the first one, which we'll probably talk about, but I'm very excited for this. What was your reaction to this?
Yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance. Well, and partly my own fault. I could have interrupted you to really talk about the showcase in general. But Seb, I miss when showcases, did stuff, right? Like, I miss when showcases decide to, I don't know, actually show off some games, and Sony was like, "Well, come here for an hour. I got something for you.
Not even like
You
90
might want to
minutes.
see."
It's like 90
Uh,
minutes.
90 minutes? Was it 90 minutes? I thought it was like an hour.
No, it was like hour
Yeah,
like 15 minutes. I want to say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We'll talk about it.
It was nuts. But yeah, they started off with Kana, which was cool. As soon as I saw Ember Studios, I was like, wait a second, I swear I know that name from somewhere. Or Ember Labs. Yeah, I also liked Kana. I believe I streamed it back when it first came out, 2021 or whatever it was. And I also liked it, but I had some big problems with some of the combat, which I found overly challenging and
Mm.
not in a fun way.
That was my problem too.
And I also Yes, but I bet that they'll have fixed that because I believe I said at the time, if they fix the combat, I'm pretty much all in on this game because
Yeah. It,
it had a good story.
yeah.
What's that?
I was gonna
It
add.
had a good story.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. It had a good story. The companion critters were very, very cute. The art style was lovely. The soundtrack was great. And I didn't hate the combat. It's just certain aspects of it really pissed me off. I remember
Yeah.
some of the bosses just felt unfair the
Yeah.
way they just didn't feel very well designed.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. My biggest problem with that game was the weird difficulty spikes. The parrying in that game was
Yeah.
off. I could never get the pairing
Yeah.
timing in that game right. It was really hard. I had some of the bosses felt like harder than some Souls bosses that I fought. Like it was strangely difficult for this kind of game.
Yeah.
This,
And it wasn't it
yeah.
would be one thing if Kana had been advertised like that, but I don't remember it being advertised as
No.
particularly
Yeah.
dangerous bosses. It was advertised as like this cute little
Yeah.
Ghibli Pixar inspired game with these furry
Yeah.
companions. And then once I start playing, I'm like, why the hell is my ass getting beat 6 ways to Sunday? I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. I was expecting
So
more like Ratchet and Clank level difficulty, not like
yeah.
a Souls game. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I don't know.
yeah.
But I feel like with the sequel they will have fixed that. And I'm not asking for it to be a cakewalk. I would like some difficulty sliders if that I don't remember if that was in the original, but some difficulty sliders and some accessibility options if that's what they're going for. Because it's one thing for like Nioh 3 to not have that, right? It's fucking Nioh 3. If you're playing Nioh, you know what you're playing. But these games are advertised like they're like something a 10-year-old could play. When I would absolutely not recommend a 10-year-old go check out this combat because it's like you're gonna get your ass kicked and it's gonna be really frustrating. So I just hope that they do that. If they didn't do it in the original, and again, I don't remember, it was like 5 years ago. Holy cow, time goes by fast. But yeah, and
It did,
I
yeah.
do think that they're going to do that. I think Ember Labs has been cooking up something really good for the past 5 years. I have faith in the vision. This
Yeah.
looked amazing.
It did have
I got chills.
yeah, it did have difficulty options. The first one, it
Okay.
had easy, it had normal. No, it had easy, narrative, like story. Then it had like an apprentice
Yeah.
one, which is like second easy, and then you had normal mode, which is spirit guide, and then you had hard mode, which is like master spirit.
Yeah,
So
I think I probably stubbornly played on normal because I was like, oh well, it'll be fine. It's just a fucking easygoing, cozy action adventure game. And the game's like, you sure about that, buddy?
yeah, but in terms of the game itself, the second one, visuals look better. The environments were jaw dropping. How nice they look.
Yeah,
The riding on a mount, like riding on like a fox, was really cool. It's more open world because the first game wasn't really open world. It was just like a hub.
it was very linear. Yeah, which
Yeah,
I didn't mind, but yeah,
yeah. So I hope, but I do hope. I don't want this game to be super open world either, though. I don't want another 70-hour game.
no.
if they find like a nice 25, if they do like the Horizon open world, like 25, 30 hour experience, I think that'd be perfect. So yeah, I'm sold on this game. I'm day one. They got me.
Yeah. I'm pretty much day one. I will be watching reviews carefully, but I think I was day one for the first one. I'm probably day one for this one. It's
Yeah,
just too damn pretty. It's got
yeah,
all the vibes right. Even if the gameplay can be a little overly challenging, if they still haven't fixed that, honestly, I'll just reduce the difficulty. I think that back in 2021, I was a lot more stubborn about that. I still can be stubborn, but I feel like I've grown as a person since then, at least a little bit. So I'll
yeah,
probably ease back. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, I hope they nail it. I thought the first game was pretty good, but could have been better. But for a first attempt, it was great,
yeah.
and I think the second one will be even better.
Absolutely. All right, then they showed Ghost of Yotai Legends. Did you have anything to say about that? I haven't played the game yet, so I don't have anything to say.
I'm excited for this, but I have no one to play it with. So like my excitement is tempered by reality. Like in my fantasy, it's like Ghost of Tsushima back in 20, I think same year as Kana or around the
No,
same
20.
time.
It was a
But
year before. Year before.
year before. And so I remember during the pandemic like playing with like Ryan and like some of the other podcast friends that we had back then. And like having a blast with Tsushima Legends. But I don't have those. I'm not as well connected anymore with people who play. Number one, have these games, have PlayStation, want to play a co-op game. Like there's so many who like level and have beaten Yotai and yada yada yada. So if
Yeah,
this was a PC game, this would be so much easier because Seb and I could co-op it.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't really know anybody who played Yotai who I would co-op through the PlayStation with.
yeah.
So bummer.
I kind of wish they did the PC reveal for this game right here, but not a big deal. I think it will come to PC at some point. So I'm just gonna wait. We can play it then when it comes to PC.
Yeah.
All right, and they showed Death Stranding 2 on the beach, which is coming to PC. I will definitely be getting this game on PC. I've been waiting for it. I said that last year. It probably would have been my top 10 games of the year if I had played it on the PS5 last year. But I wanted the PC version. I knew it was coming. And yeah, it was for what they showed. Seems like it was worth waiting. I mean, they said unlock frame rates, ultra wide support. The visuals look jaw dropping. Like this is a must play. So I am definitely getting this game. I don't know if I'm gonna get day one in March because March is so stacked for games, but this feels like a nice game to play when there's nothing around, like a perfect summer game or something like that. I would definitely have that game beat by the end of the year. I don't know if I can count that for my top 10 because technically it came out last year, but this game should be amazing. I'm fully expecting it to be awesome. Any comments about Death Stranding 2 coming to PC?
No, I don't get to see the appeal of these games, and I probably never will. But I respect Kojima's vision, and I'm excited for his future games. But yeah, the Death Stranding games have never done anything for me. The gameplay loop feels very unappealing to me personally. But I'm glad for everybody who enjoys it. And Kojima is very sad, by the way, that all of you like his second game. Stop liking his game so much. Be more divisive, goddammit. Anyway, and don't take my word for it. That's what Kojima said. He wasn't happy that everybody liked it.
All right. Now, Four Loop was the first game where I didn't really have any
eh,
interest. I
no.
because I don't really like multiplayer games generally, and this is roguelike elements as well and replayable missions, and it was they just basically said there's a beta test coming later on and they show some gameplay. It just wasn't for me. So I was like, yeah, whatever. Any comments before Loop?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
The only loops I want to see in my life are Fruit Loops.
I knew you were gonna say that. Did they
Know me
show
too well.
Then they showed Pragmata, which we've seen a million times, and we're both very
I
interested
did
in
feel
it.
like this was a new way to show it. They were kind of showing the environments and the
Yeah,
story
like
and
it
the
was like New
characters a
York.
little bit more than the
It
combat.
Yeah, it looked like New York
Yeah,
or some city, but
yeah. It was New York. It definitely was.
yeah,
I remember Diana being like, "Is that a place on Earth or something like that?"
gotcha. I mean, I'm already sold. I mean, what more can you
Yeah,
really say?
I've been sold. I'm very excited. I'm not very excited, but I am very much looking forward to this. I will be paying attention to reviews because I think it's gonna. I think they're charging the full price tag for this $60-$70, but
Yeah,
um But yeah, I'm probably there unless it like I liked what I played from the demo, and that's what's reconvinced me that I'm really there for the game. I feel like I know it doesn't sound intuitive hacking and shooting at the same time, but I personally found it very intuitive, and I did not think I would. I was my expectations were going against this game,
Yeah.
and I liked what I played. So and it's similar to Replaced, very short demo, even shorter than Replaced. But for the brief amount of time that I did play it, including a boss fight, I liked what I experienced. So very much looking forward to Pragmata, of course, on the Diana bandwagon. So let's go.
Yep. All right, and then they showed Resident Evil Requiem, which we're beyond.
I was so certain we were getting a demo announcement. I was so excited. I was like, oh, are they going to announce a demo? I mean, it wouldn't have really made any sense because it's literally coming out in a week. But I'm like, maybe they're doing a demo.
Yeah,
No, everybody else gets a fucking
2 weeks.
but we don't.
Yeah, yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah.
But I mean, I would be careful with this trailer because it does spoil some things. Some things you could have left out. They have showed this game a little too much now. I guess it doesn't bother me personally, but I could see some people being like they're showing a lot. Because they show like Leon walking into the police department, and like it's a big moment for him. He hasn't stepped in there in like 30 years.
Yeah, I was surprised they showed that moment.
Yeah, but not only that, they show like open world.
I mean, obviously
sections.
You presume it's going to happen, but like showing it's another thing.
Then they show like open sections, like Leon fighting zombies on the street and parrying. But they also show a bunch of like story elements. They showed this new girl, and they show like all
I
these.
thought it was Ashley for a second. I really thought that was Ashley for a split second.
Yeah,
it bothers me because in Resident Evil 4, and I know this because I was playing it for like a week or two straight, doing a lot of speedrunning. But this line has always stuck with me in the remake where Ashley's like, it'd be cool if we could be agents together. And I'm like, there's no fucking way Capcom put that in the remake for no goddamn reason, and it's not going to happen. But
yeah,
anyway, it really could just be a throwaway line, and I'm being a nerd about it. But
yeah,
it just feels, it felt to me like they had to put that line in there for a reason.
Sure. Well, I noticed that the girl Emily, the girl with the white hair, has this. It looks like the creature with the creature's wearing like this dress too. It's like a white dress. So I don't know if I don't know if she's a monster. I don't know if like there's clones of these creatures. I don't know if they're clone. Remember Evelyn from Resident Evil 7? I don't know if they're trying to clone her because they already established with the mold in Resident Evil 8 that you can create people using the mold, and 7, I guess you can create people using the mold, and like clones. But my first thought was like, how many times we can do creepy girls in a horror game? Like they just love creepy little girls in horror, especially Resident Evil. We had Evelyn, then we had Rose, and them trying to clone Rose like into Miranda's daughter, and now we have this new girl Emily. I'm curious how they tie it all together. I'm very interested in what they do with the story. I don't know if like this little girl is like Grace's sister, like because Grace is special somehow, right? So we'll see.
Well, the scientist / doctor or whatever the hell he is, the creepy guy with the glasses, wants her for some reason. They keep hinting at it.
Yeah.
So something's got to be going on.
And then they had they showed the back of the head of the girl, the lady helping Leon over the radio, and it looks like Sherry. So I wonder if they bring Sherry back from Resident Evil 6 and the other games, because she's been up to something for over 10 years now. So I wonder if Ada's going to show up, because if this feels like Leon's final game, whether he dies or retires, I feel like you have to have Ada and Sherry and whoever show up.
Yeah.
You have to have, well, I think you have to have Sherry, because if you're returning to Raccoon City, Sherry's a major character, and I mean you literally saved her from the city, so that would tie it all together. So I'm Dave. I mean, what is there to say? I'm beyond day one.
Both of us are day zero.
Yeah.
If we could like somehow storm Capcom HQ hypothetically, we would, just so we could grab a copy of this very peacefully.
Yeah.
And just leave.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
All right. So yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks. What is there to say? Like, I mean, we'll be talking about it soon. All right. Then they showed Legacy of Kain Defiance remastered. So I'm very excited for this. I'm glad that they made these games a lot more accessible in terms of like anyone can get them now, making it look even better. I think the other games have been successful remasters. now you can play all of them on modern devices, almost everywhere. So I think it's a great thing. I think game preservation is amazing, and it's good for the
Yeah.
industry. So I'm very excited for this. I know Dory, you probably wouldn't play this, I would assume, right? But
No, I don't think it's really for me, but I completely agree with what you just said. Game preservation is super important. I'm really glad they're doing this.
yeah,
I used to have a friend who was very into the Legacy of Kain series. That's the reason I even found out it was a thing.
yeah.
So I appreciate it on like sentimental level.
Sometimes they can ruin the game though, like the Deus Ex remaster. People are not happy about that one, right?
Yeah,
But for the most part, I think remasters are good.
I did hear that they are listening to fans and they're going to
Oh,
spend
okay.
more time
Yeah.
making it look better. So that's
Yeah.
good at least.
That was rough what we saw.
Yeah, it looked off. I was excited about it, and then I people started saying like it looked off, and I was like, wait, what do they mean? And I went back and I was like, yeah, it does look weird.
Yeah. All right. You have anything to say about the Brigadine Abyss? I don't have it. I didn't really. This is not for me. I don't like strategy games. You're on mute.
Hello, I just did a lot of ad libbing and vamping, and it didn't even catch. But I was basically making fun of the title. I love this title, Brigadine Abyss. It sounds like "Bring me the abyss, bring me the horizon, Brigadine Aline."
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what I'm doing, but anyways, I have nothing to say about this. It didn't really appeal to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it should appeal to me because it's anime bullshit, but it's like kind of tactical
Yeah.
gaming, and I'm not really into that.
That's not my genre. Then they showed
All right.
Boobs Are Alive 6, lost last round.
I was gonna say when they started showing Dead or Alive on the screen, I was like, "Show me beach volleyball, you cowards, or I don't give a shit." And I did not play that when I was a kid, by the way, but I definitely was aware of it thanks to XPlay
Sure.
and G4 because they
Sure.
would not stop talking about that game. No, Your Honor, I'm innocent. But anyway,
Yeah, G4
yeah,
I mean G4 is the same channel that gave us the Man Show, so of course they love
yes,
showing
yeah.
the volleyball. Yeah.
Yes, they did. But yeah, I kept jokingly be like, "Show me beach volleyball, you cowards." But yeah, I guess Dead or Alive is coming back. I'm sure this means a lot to some people. It doesn't mean jack shit to me. I never played it as a kid. I was a Soul Calibur and Smash Bros kid, and I didn't play much else. I played a little bit of Marvel vs. Capcom as well, but like that was really it for fighting games. I played that awful Star Wars fighting game too on the PS1. So yeah, very mixed. Very mixed.
I remember that.
But yeah, I never really got into Dead or Alive. I did never play Tekken. Yeah, I just don't. I don't really care. All I know about Dead or Alive is what Seb just joked about, the boobs. So,
Yeah.
although I forgot that fucking Ninja Gaiden Hayabusa is in this game. I was like, oh hi Hayabusa, I forgot you were in this game.
Yeah, I'm more of the fighting game fan for us between us, but Dead or
Right.
Alive, I have played a good amount of them, but I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of this franchise. So this didn't do a lot for me, but I do like that they added new characters and costumes and the photo mode, and you get all the DLC apparently. And this game has hundreds of dollars of DLC, which not a bit. It's been horrible in that regard. I guess they made it easier for that if you have a premium edition, premium version. Uh, so there's a paid premium version and a free to play edition. So whatever. So yeah, it launches June 25th. So it didn't do anything for me. Then they showed that. Then they
No.
revealed that there's a new Dead Alive project being worked on. So a new game. So yeah.
Yippee.
Yeah, this is the part of the show where I was like, whatever. Then they showed Control Resonant, and then I was back. I was back into being interested. This looks so different from Control, the first one. Still
It kind of feels like
the same trippy stuff.
oh
But
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
It kind of feels like Prototype in a way.
Yeah,
Like
Prototype is
I
the
didn't I
big.
never
Yeah, Prototype is the biggest comparison. Like this is Prototype.
yeah. It feels like a spiritual successor to Prototype, which is funny because that wasn't a game by Remedy. But yeah, it feels like a spiritual successor to Prototype in a way. I never played Prototype personally, but I did play slightly different, of course, but Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which is like the next closest thing I can think of that I played.
Or Sucker Punch.
Still a very different game.
Well, Infamous. Infamous plays similar. I would say.
Infamous. Yes, I played Infamous as well. Yeah, yeah. So, um, but yeah, I really loved what I saw from here. It looks like a really cool action RPG done from Remedy. Um, I don't know. I mean, like you can use different weapons. You got a hammer. You got some blades. You can fucking Inception shit. Like you can just flip your center of gravity so things get really distorted, which is very aesthetically cool. But Dory is also a little worried about how lost I'm going to get. But yeah, and I don't know why I said that in third person, but Dory will continue talking. It looks really good. The combat looks really fun and fluid. But yeah, Seb, what did you think?
I thought it looked really good. It reminded me of like Final Fantasy 16. Like I wouldn't say it's like Devil May Cry because it wasn't as fast as that. I would say more like Final Fantasy with the dash when you dodge and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I was kind of surprised, just only the fact that like it really went far away from the first Control game, which Control was basically a Metroidvania, a 3D Metroidvania, and you're like mostly in linear hallways, and it was very third person shooter focused. Like you mostly were floating and throwing boxes at enemies and like shooting. This one went straight open area, open world with like sword combat and melee combat. So I was just surprised how different it was, but I think it looks fantastic, and I'm probably day one. I mean, I play all of Remedy's games. I practically beat all of their games, so I'm sold. I mean, I'm already hyped for this game. This is probably gonna be in my top 10 games of the year. At least I hope it is. So I'm very hyped. I think this looks great, personally.
yeah. I completely agree. I'm very hyped for this game. Can't believe it's coming out this year. I
Yeah,
hope it doesn't get delayed, but obviously if it needs to, it needs to. But it looks really good. I'm very much sold on this.
you're right. And then they showed a new IP. I think it's a new IP, Crimson Moon, which I thought the trailer looked pretty cool. It looked fun. It looked like a fun game to play with a
Yeah,
friend.
it looks cool. I didn't I you know what I thought this was, sorry to interrupt you.
You good?
I thought this was Code Vein for a split second, and then I very quickly realized, wait, that's not Code Vein too.
Oh,
I don't know why I thought it was Code Vein. I think it's just because of the medieval setting or something.
yeah, I thought it was Darksiders. That's what that's the vibe.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That was the vibe I was getting at first. I didn't seem. I don't think it's a Souls game. Like you first think, the look of it, you would think it's like maybe it's like a Souls game, but it looks like an action, just like an action co-op game. So I don't think everything's a Souls game. So, but there's some parrying and stuff in it, and dodging, and so that's not part of being a Souls game. But you get what I'm saying? It's like it'll be a fun game to play. I gotta see some gameplays. The only thing, it's my only question for this game is I need to see like legit gameplay. They showed snippets of it, but not enough for me to like really be sold on it. So I put it on my wish list on Steam, and I keep an eye on it. It might be a really fun game. It does come out this year, so I like dark
yeah. It was very
fantasy
cool.
and I like action, so it looks cool. All
I
right,
also like the soundtrack that they did. It's very hard rock,
yeah,
with some really thunderous like guitar lines and stuff
yeah,
like that.
it fit the tone very well.
Yeah,
All right, Beast of Reincarnation was next. We've already talked about it in detail 2 weeks ago from the Xbox show. We're both sold on it, right? I mean, I guess
yeah.
the biggest thing
This
here,
is
it was August 4th. I don't think we got a release date last time, right? Was it?
No, I don't think we did either. I was very hyped to see right around my birthday. Not super close, but in the same month.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't been excited about a Game Freak game since the time they remade Diamond, which was like 5 years ago or some shit at this
yeah.
point. And I know a lot of people weren't as excited about that as I was, but I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I like the way this looks. Kim was even saying, Dory, this looks like a game you'll like, and then she paused. It also looks like a game you're gonna get pissed off at, so I'm really excited for that. I'm like, yeah, probably. Also, my dog has decided to join the podcast, so she'll be in the corner. But yeah, it looks good. The
Yeah.
combat looks great. The setting looks very, I know it's already been said, but it looks very near Automata, which I
It's
like.
like,
So more post-apocalyptic games with
yeah,
wastelands and lush forests and shit like that, please.
yeah. Like I said before, it reminds me of Nier, and it reminds me of Stellar Blade. That's the two
Yeah,
comparisons I'm seeing the most. So if it's like any of those, which I really love, both of them. Stellar Blade, I thought it was really good. Not great. Not like it has some flaws, story especially. But I thought and Nier I think is fantastic. I would recommend Nier to everybody. Nier is one of those. Like I know
Yeah,
you're on a
Nier
JRPG.
Automata is excellent.
You're on a JRPG binge, Dory. I would recommend the Nier series if you haven't played them. You
Yeah,
put
I've only played Automata, the most popular one.
Yeah, you should play. You should try the first one when you get a chance. They did a remake of
Mm.
it or a remaster rather.
Was that Replicant?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, then they did a Rayman 30th anniversary edition because this year is everybody's anniversary for some reason. I don't know why it's that
Yeah, it's
way.
like everybody's 30th anniversary. I was like, holy shit.
But yeah, this came out the same day, and you get to play was their first game, which is actually quite hard. Was it multiple games? I think it was just the first one.
I
But
believe it was a collection.
it's a
I could
collect.
be wrong though. I thought it was a collection.
Yeah, it might be. I think it is a collection.
It's
Well, multiple versions of the
it says it's multiple
original.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think this was the thing that caught Kim's eye the most. She was like, "Oh, I remember playing that as a kid," but yeah, it didn't do anything for me. I didn't really grow up playing Rayman. I was a Spyro Crash Bandicoot kid.
no, I was too, but I didn't play Rayman 2. But I didn't play the 2D
Yeah.
Rayman. I played the 3D one on the PS.
3D one. Yeah, those were the big ones, right? Or I thought they were. I don't know.
I don't
Or maybe
remember.
2D
I
were
was
the
too
big
little.
ones. I don't remember.
To know. I was too little to know. I think, but I just remember the 3D ones more. 'Cause I was just very. I've always been the platformer since I was a kid, so I played all of them.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna get it now, but I think I can see myself buying it in the future. I have it on my Steam list.
Yeah.
Steam wish list, I think. All right. Mina the Hollower, which was supposed to come out last year on Halloween, then it got delayed. They still don't have a release date for it. Are you interested in this game? Are you like in
No, I
Shovel
don't.
Knight?
I'm not really. No, I never played Shovel Knight. Not really into these kind of old school Zelda throwback. It's funny because I want them to go old school with Zelda, but not that kind of old school with Zelda. You know what I mean? In terms
Yeah,
of games,
sure.
I'm more into the whole Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Twilight, those kind of Skyward Sword, those four games specifically. Not the Zelda 1, Zelda 2, A Link to the Past kind of stuff. That not really my bag.
Yeah.
I don't dislike the genre necessarily. I mean, I fucking love Dungeons and Dragons, right? So I'm not against dungeons necessarily, but yeah, a whole game based around it, not really my thing.
Yeah. It seems like a nice handheld game. Not really for me, but I think it is pretty interesting that this is their first, or this is their second new IP in ever. Like they've only made Shovel Knight games, so this is their second
Yeah,
franchise they've ever done. So I expect it to be
yeah,
It might not be for either of us, but I do expect it to be a
yeah,
quality game because they really do make quality games. They're actually a quality studio. And it seems like their developers and the people that work there are very happy and seems like they have a good relationship. It seems like a non-toxic developer. Like it seems like everybody's happy, but I don't know.
yeah. It's unfortunate because I hear that they've been having some money issues. They really need Mina to do well, I guess.
Yeah,
So for the solvency of their studio, which is a huge bummer and nuts because Shovel Knight's such an influential name in the indie space. So I don't know how that's possible, but I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
I wonder how Shovel Knight's sold, but that's another conversation
Yeah, yeah.
for a
But
future
so anyway,
episode.
that was Mina. That was Mina the Hollower. We could actually get into another cool indie game too up next.
Yeah, Neva got a prologue DLC. Now I'm curious. Are you interested in playing this? Like, I'm not sure.
I liked Neva, but I don't feel like I liked it so much that I'm gonna play a prologue about it. Like I loved Grease, not the movie. But
Grace Lightning.
I liked. Sorry, John Travolta. I've actually never seen Grease, so that joke doesn't even
What?
make any sense. I know, I know. I'm not a big musical person. I'm sorry. I've never seen Wicked
Oh.
either, or Wicked for
What?
Good or whatever.
Actually, I
Um,
love musicals. But yeah, go ahead.
okay. But anyway, so I loved Grease is my point, and the
Yeah,
game, and I liked Neva. I thought it was a great game, but it did feel like I don't know. The game is mostly vibes. But the combat was good.
I
I
had
thought it
that.
was actually serviceable.
I had that
I
problem
was worried
I
about.
had that problem with Grease too, though. Like I thought it was too many down
Yeah.
moments. It was like very slow, like a little too
It's
slow.
very it's a very yeah, it's a very cozy, comfy action puzzle game with very like kind of. We were talking about this earlier with Little Nightmares and Reanimal, but a very vibes based storytelling where you kind of have to piece together the story for yourself. And I felt like that kind of worked in Greece and kind of worked in Neva, but it never hit. Like I
Yeah,
felt like they wanted me to cry or something, and I'm like, guys, I'm just not.
yeah,
That's just not going to happen here. I'm sorry. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited that they're making the DLC, but I don't think I'm going to go play it. There's too many things I want to play.
yeah. I'm with you. That's pretty much my opinion on this. All right, then they showed Yako or yeah, I want to say Yako Shinobi Ops, which looked like a really cool stealth action co-op game, which is coming out next year. When I was watching with the my friends, they were really into it. They love the top-down view and the isometric view of the game. They love stealth. I'm not really a stealth person, so this really wasn't for me. I wasn't really feeling it.
No, not for me either.
Like,
Sorry, Xena decided she wanted to play a game of tic tac toe by putting one of the blocks in her mouth, so I had to quickly take that out of her mouth.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, I thought this looked cool, but it's not for me. It's a very hardcore stealth game.
yeah.
Uh, looks cool, but yeah, not my bag.
I was getting Tenchu vibes. Did you ever play Tenchu?
No, I
Back
never
back
played
at
Tenchu.
back in
I
the
know
day.
about Ten.
Yeah.
No, I think I know about Tenchi Muyo from Toonami.
Yeah.
That's about as close as I'm getting to Tenchu.
Oh yeah. So basically, it's like a stealth game. So I thought my
Gotcha.
first thought was, is this the same developers? Is it the same people from way back then, or is this like a new game in the franchise? But no, I think it's a new IP. But it's
Yeah,
similar kind of gameplay. You play as like a ninja and you stealth kill people.
right.
All right. That's a PlayStation. It's a popular PlayStation. Well, not obviously pop. I don't know if popular, but it's like associated PlayStation. And then you had a game where you play as a giant chicken, and I don't know if he's a
This was
rooster or
ridiculous.
a chicken,
This
but
was this was this was chicken of war, cock of war. I don't know. This was nuts. And I was trying. I asked Kim. I was like, "Are you aware of the book franchise it's based on?" Because Kim's a big reader. But I guess it's like a South Korean novel series or something. It's based on.
yeah,
I
it's
don't fucking
yeah,
know.
it's Korean.
This was nuts. The Korean, yeah. This was So this is basically like one of those one person fights an army kind of game. I know it has a genre name. I can't remember what it's called. Um, but you're a chicken, and I don't know what the fuck's going. I don't know what's going on here, man. This was the what the fuck moment of the showcase. I wasn't against it, but I just didn't know what the hell to think about it.
Yeah, it did feel like one of those like hack and slash games, with like Dynasty Warriors or something. But I was getting more of a Black Myth
Yeah,
Wukong vibe or God of War.
sure.
Very cinematic. I mean, I did have a lot of enemies on screen, but the way the camera angle looked, it reminded me of God of War. Whatever it is, I'm really into it. I really like the cinema, just how cinematic it is. Like if it wows me like Black Myth Wukong, and it's just Black Myth Wukong had really crazy set pieces and crazy like cinematography, and the first 10 minutes of that game was insane, right? If this game is just batshit crazy fun, like what we're seeing on screen, I'm sold. My only question for this game is just because it's called Project. Like, how far away is this game? Is this game like 5 years
Yeah.
away? It doesn't even have a title, unless that's the name of it, but I don't think it is. So
What's
it,
what's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken.
it
But
yeah, it's a
I
Muso
love
game.
all the top.
It's a Muso
I
game.
love Muso. That's right. I love all the top comments. I gotta read all of them under PlayStation. Chicken Little really grew up. He ain't clucking around. That rooster has no business looking that cool. Sanders, your son has returned. Badass chicken with a blade. Take my money. KFC marketing has reached a new level. I love this one. Peter Griffin, final boss.
I
Parentheses leaked.
I said his name should be General Sao, like the chicken. That would have
Yeah,
been.
that would be good too. Last one I want to highlight: who's the chicken now? But yeah, go to the PlayStation page where Project Windless is. The comment section is just amazing. But this, I mean, it does look good. It looks really cool. I don't know that I'm gonna get it because I'm not typically into Muso games where like you're one person fighting a whole bunch. But I mean, I gotta give it to them. This game looks fucking cool as hell. So I mean, I'm not against it.
That would
I don't know what the hell's going. I don't know what the hell's going on.
God, if they should really they won't do this, but they should really commit to the craziness of it. Like have Colonel Sanders as like the final boss, like in full like
Oh
old
god, that
school
would be so amazing, dude.
ancient Korean armor, like a samurai. No, it's Japan, but
Yes,
you know what I'm talking about.
like a total remodeling of Colonel Sanders. That way
Yeah,
they don't get sued. But yeah,
and like Peter Griffin,
like like wink wink nudge nudge, like
like
his name's Casey or whatever.
Peter Griffin, like it's like a bootleg. It's like
Yeah.
a non-copyright version of Peter Griffin.
Like the Greek choir kicks in and it goes silent for a second, and all you hear is
They should just embrace
amazing.
this stupid and just go full on have fun with it. All right, and then they showed Star Wars Galactic Racer, which I'm very excited for. I was already excited for it.
Yeah, but I was so pissed off. This pissed me off
Why?
right the heck. I thought that we were there showing Jedi 3.
Oh
And I was so excited. I
no!
was like, "Oh my god, it's the new Jedi game!" And I was like, "Fuck you! It's that stupid nostalgia piece of shit,
What?
nostalgia cash grab."
That's
I don't
so
actually
good.
care. I'm glad people are getting their silly racing game, but I want Jedi. God damn it! I don't care
Yeah,
about this.
the first two Jedi games were revealed at Star Wars Celebration, so we won't see that game until next year. I think we
Yeah,
will
so
see it.
that'll probably be yeah.
Yeah, they skipped it this year, but I'm really into this. I love Star Wars. I'm so happy that EA is not holding this franchise hostage now. With I never understood giving EA the exclusive rights to making Star Wars games. We used to have Star Wars games like almost every week. It felt like when I was a kid, and I'm glad we're getting back to that. And this looks fun. The big question for me is just the content because these kind of games always can really make or break from the content because some of these games are really lack content and how much DLC they're going to shove at us and things like that. Like that's the big question for me is are they gonna nickel and dime us? How much content is there going to be to enjoy this game? How's the campaign going to be? Is it going to be fun? Is it going to be a story mode? I have a lot of questions for this game, but on the surface, I'm very interested in it. So I'm not saying I'm day one, but I'm
Yep.
very interested. Star Wars is my favorite franchise, so I'm automatically very interested in any Star Wars game. Then they showed 007 First Light, which we're both very excited for. More of the same.
Yep.
I mean, we got to see a little more story and characters and him interacting with people. He's very Nathan Drake in this, like young Nathan Drake, which obviously Nathan Drake's probably based off him. But I'm saying he's very like ruthless and reckless. He's a young guy, just doesn't care, gunner. It's what you expect from James Bond, right? I mean, he was like that when he was older. I'm sold. This is like my kind of game. This is my genre. This is my favorite genre. There is third-person action adventure game, cinematic, day one. As a giant Tomb Raider and Uncharted fan, I'm sold. I still see some performance issues, a little bit, but this looks great. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've talked a couple times about how I grew up watching the Bond films, specifically with my uncle, but also on my own as I got older. I played Everything or Nothing, which is like one of my favorite, like underrated PS2 games. I played, of course, GoldenEye when I was younger, and I played it since as well. I'm a huge James Bond fan. It's one of my, you know, guilty pleasures, quote unquote. I'm very excited for this. I'm not sure that like it's my favorite genre similar to Seb. I think my favorite genre is probably like more narrative focused, but I this would probably be high up on my list. I mean, Uncharted 2 and 4 are both games I love dearly. So I'm very excited for this, and I love Hitman too.
Absolutely. Then they showed a very nice surprise, Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 2, which means Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is now finally free from the grasp of PS3. We can finally play it on multiple platforms and modern platforms, on PlayStation and on PC. I'm so happy for this. Now I can finally complete the franchise all on PC, all on a handheld device, or on anything I want to play on. And it's including Peace Walker, which is a great game as well. This is amazing. This is a great announcement. This is a big surprise. This is a huge hype moment for me. I was just so excited when I was watching it. I should have recorded myself. So hyped. I love Metal Gear Solid.
It was funny. It was funny for me because at first I was like, oh, they're just showing off the master collections, whatever. And then I noticed that it was a different number. And then I noticed it was Metal Gear Solid 4, and I got hype as fuck because I love Metal Gear Solid 4. It's a great movie. I think there's a game in there too. But in all seriousness, I really do like Metal Gear Solid 4. I think it's a great game. It obviously has some problems, but I think it holds up pretty decently. Last time I played it, which I think was on the probably was on the PS3 back in the late 2010s. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it when I played it. It's great. There was this meme going around about how more people were going to be able to understand memes about Metal Gear Solid 4 because it now that more people can actually play it. I'm not going to be able to find it in time, I think. But it's very good. I'm glad that this game is finally coming back and is going to be more widely accessible to more people. That's just a huge win. The thing was from Lady Emily on Blue Sky. The original tweet is from Omega Virus. MGS4 boss tries to give Snake a lap dance and dies. Drebin. That was Angry Armadillo. She was forced to eat cement as a child. Which is really just a great, great summary of that whole game. But yeah, I love Metal Gear Solid 4, so I'm excited for this.
And not only that, we got a high resolution version of the other games for the first collection for free as DLC.
Right, I thought that was awesome
That
too.
was amazing. Now I have a real. I'm gonna go through the whole series this year during the summer. That's my plan. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm hyped for this. That was a great announcement. All right, then they showed Darwin's Paradox, which this is already a franchise, but you're an octopus, and now they're doing a Metal Gear Solid one, and that looked pretty cool. This is not your genre, Dory, but I like this
No,
because it looked like Little Nightmares slash Inside
but
kind of.
my name is Dory, so I do have to have an innate appreciation for octopuses trying to escape captivity, given the Finding Dory movie. So I must stand. I fear. But yeah, it looked very cute, and I liked it. I liked what I saw from it. I don't think I'll be playing it, but I liked it. But the real thing was the next one, where Konami revealed, by the way, not to steal your spotlight, but they revealed that they were bringing Castlevania back. Where I was like, hell yeah! I mean, I'm absolutely not going to play that game because Metroidvanias are not my thing, and this is literally the Vania and Metroidvania. But it's very cool that they're finally bringing. I checked on the article that we have. It's been almost 20 years since a Castlevania came out, or at least a 2D Castlevania came out. So absolutely bonkers. They just out of nowhere. It's the same people who did Dead Cells, the Evil Empire and Motion Twin folks,
So
and
good.
it's celebrating the series' 40th anniversary. So speaking of another franchise that's celebrating a big anniversary this year, it's nuts. We're getting old.
Yeah, I guess everybody decided to make their game in 1986 or 1996 or
Yeah.
2006. Everybody did something but the six. But I'm really hyped for this. Metroidvania is not my genre generally, but there's some exceptions, and Castlevania is one of them. I played a lot of them back in the day. Super Nintendo, Nintendo, PS1. I mean, it's been a long time, right? I played a couple Castlevania like games in terms of like tributes to it. It's so nice to actually get a real Castlevania game again for the first time in a long time. So probably day one on this. Did they give us a release date on it? I think it was just 2026.
I don't
Yeah.
remember.
No, it just says coming
I don't think
2026.
they did.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably maybe the fall, I would assume. That feels right.
This would be a great Halloween game, great October game.
Yeah. Hopefully it comes out in like beginning of October and not like on a Halloween. I hate when the Halloween game comes out and it comes out like the 31st. I'm like, first of all,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm celebrating Halloween, and then the time I play it's gonna be November 1st, and it just doesn't feel the same anymore. So please stop doing that, people. Silent Hill Townfall we already talked about, so we can skip that. Did you have anything to say about Rev Noir?
It looked kind of cool. I don't know if I'm gonna be into it, but it's got that anime action RPG kind of shit going on. There's kind of a cool twist in the world building that like light is actually bad and it's like raining down from the sky and killing people. The only thing I didn't like was the name Rev Noir. I hope that's just a working title, but yeah, Kotaku says it's a new JRPG that draws heavily from Tales, which is a series I haven't gotten into yet,
Looks like it.
but I've heard great things about, and Final Fantasy. But yeah, it's just a teaser trailer. There's not a ton here. They don't show a lot of gameplay. It's just a lot of fancy cinematics that hope to draw you in. Consider me drawn in. I'm interested. I'm not going to wish list it, but I am interested.
One thing with me is it just feels generic in the sense that how many JRPGs have I seen with the same art style and character design,
Yeah,
where like futuristic mixed with fantasy. Everybody's wearing these jackets and like the very white. You know what I'm talking about? Like
yeah,
buttons everywhere and zippers and like it's. I feel like I've seen this game 1,000 times. That's the only thing that keeps me
yeah. That's fair.
super excited about it. But I am interested. I put it on my wish list. Keep an eye on it. I think it's a Konami game too.
Yes, it is. Konami just. Well, actually, I don't know that it is.
Pretty sure. Rev Noir.
I
Yeah,
remember it was a bunch of Konami games back to back to back.
it's a Konami game.
Yeah. So yeah, Konami's like we're back. I'm thinking we're like a random film character once said, Seb. I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah, so we got John Wick is getting a game. It's about damn time. It feels like this feels like 10 years too late. No, I mean I was still really hyped
Yeah,
for it,
it really does.
but it really should have came out. It should have been a John Wick game forever ago. Like
I could tell this was John Wick almost immediately. By the way.
yeah. Yeah, like especially when once I saw the fighting in the alleyway, I was like, oh yeah, that's John Wick. I mean,
Yeah.
it just the movies always were perfect for a video game. Like if this was 2004, they would have had that shit pumped out in 2 days. They would have had they would have had a game ready to
Yeah.
go with the movie.
Yeah. Say what you want about movie spinoffs, but at least they were timely. You know what I mean? Like they weren't always great, but at least they were fucking timely within the matrix of like the discourse.
like we got the Matrix movies, and then we got like Enter the Matrix. You know what I mean? Like a prequel to the movie. Like I
Yeah.
love that shit. They're
Yeah.
most of them were terrible, but we still it's still kind of cool to play it. Don't get me wrong, super hyped for this game. I mean, we didn't get to see really that much gameplay, if at any at all, but I think I know what to expect. So this is hype. I'm day one probably. I mean, I love Keanu Reeves. I love John Wick. Big fan of the movies. Seen them a million times. This is for me. So sold. I wonder is it gonna play like the Hitman games, or is it gonna be like a cinematic third person action game? I'm very curious what direction they go in because they didn't show anything. What do you think, Dory?
I'm sorry. What was the? I totally was spacing out there.
No worries. Do you think
What is what?
you think it's gonna be like a Hitman kind of game where you plan assassinations, or is it gonna be like a third person action game, like maybe like Sleeping Dogs or something like that?
Yeah, I kind of got Sifu vibes. I
Or
mean,
Sifu,
for
yeah,
obvious reasons, right? But
yeah,
yeah, I feel like it could be a level to level to level game.
yeah.
But I mean, I guess it could. There could be an open hub or something. I don't know. All I know is it's probably not going to be open world.
No, no.
Certainly going to be some amount of linearness to it.
I would
I
think,
wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if it goes from level to level.
yeah. That would make sense to me. Open world, I don't see how you can. I don't see why you even would do that. I don't see how that would fit.
No, no. I just was like taking an extreme example there,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know really know what to expect. And I think I saw the first John Wick, and I thought it was a great film, but I haven't seen any of the others, so I can't say like I'm super pumped for this, but yeah. I don't know. Cool.
Go watch those movies. That's my opinion. You'll anyway, you have anything to say about Marathon? I don't. I have no interest.
No, I really don't. I want them to stop showing it. I want Bungie to move on and develop single player games. Please stop doing this, Bungie. God damn it.
Do you have anything to say about Big Walk?
Uh, no, I don't. House. Why does House sound familiar as a studio?
Not sure.
I feel like they made something else that I liked that was an indie game, and I'm not really sure what it is off the top of my head. But yeah, I didn't have anything to say about this in terms of like what I saw in the trailer or the gameplay or whatever.
Oh, they
Um,
made the Untitled Goose Game.
oh, that's why. Yeah, no, I don't really care.
Yeah, no, it wasn't for me either. You have anything to say about Saros? I mean, we've talked about it a lot already.
No, we've talked about this like 3 times. You know what pissed me off? The next trailer, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. They
Yeah.
showed off like these really cool cinematics for an X-Men team. I was like, "Holy shit, we're getting an X-Men game!" And then they were like, "Surprise, bitch! It's just Marvel Tokon."
Wait.
I was like, "Ah,
Oh,
they did it
really?
to me again."
Oh no, I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought we were getting. I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough, but I thought we
Yeah.
were actually getting like an X-Men game, which would have been weird, right? Because we're getting a Wolverine game. But whatever, I wouldn't have been mad about it. But no, it's just Marvel Tokon, and I don't care. It's a fighting game, and I don't play those, and yada yada. So another instance of me getting like really excited for a second, and then realizing like this happened during the speeder game too,
Yeah.
and more humorously during the Dead or Alive game. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is the one trailer that I disagree with you on because I thought it was really hype. This game looks incredible. Like I love Dragon Ball Fighters. I love that art style. This is probably my favorite type of fighting game with this like fast paced 2D cell shaded like anime style to it. This looks incredible. Everything about it, the flashiness of it, just looks great. Um, some weird characters though, I guess. Like I'm happy Magic's getting more love. I had no idea who this Danger robot was. I never heard of this character. Um, but this is the first time. This is actually the first time I get to hear it in English. So that was interesting. So yeah, I'm really hyped for this. It comes out August 6th. So another game in early August. I was already day one on that probably. All right, then they close with God of War trilogy remake. They
I've
even
been so on the fence about playing the HD remasters for years. Like I keep wanting to do it. This is kind of like the nail in the coffin where I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait for the fucking remakes because I can't imagine Santa Monica doing anything less than knocking it out of the park. Some fucking dweebs on the internet are like, what if they cut out my precious sex scenes? It's like, fuck off, who cares? But you already
it
have
wasn't
those
even
like anti woke people or whatever
it wasn't even a
like
sex
being
scene.
like, oh, they're
Yeah,
gonna cut out all the gore, they're gonna cut out all the
no,
sex. Like, no, they're
they never
not.
did that. In their
Like even in the
yeah, sorry,
sorry,
they never did
but
that.
yeah,
They never did that in Ragnarok or God of War. They
they're
never.
probably not gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Even if it did, it wouldn't really be a big deal. Sorry, my Xena's being a big baby right now. She's very needy. But Xena's not happy about these anti woke idiots either. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to mention it very briefly because I guess some corner of the internet's like, ew, my precious sex. Like, who
It
fucking
wasn't even. It
cares?
wasn't even a sex scene. It was a
Yeah.
QT. It was a QTE that was like, and the camera moved away from it. So all you did was a
Yeah,
bed was
yeah. It's not
shaking.
like they even showed anything besides boobies for like 5 seconds. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I just felt annoyed by it, and I wanted to talk about it for a quick sec. But yeah, I'm excited. This unfortunately this is kind of like I said the nail in the coffin. I don't think I'm gonna play the remasters just because like I'll just wait for the remake. I don't care. I was kind of wanting to just for the nostalgia factor and to like also like see if they still hold up and all that.
Yeah.
Because I do remember very vividly playing God of War 2 and God of War 1 when I was a kid and like the beginnings of God of War 3. I know I finished God of War 1. I don't think I ever beat God of War 2 or 3. But yeah, influential series. And of course, they have TC Carson. Dude was charismatic as hell. This guy could have sold me a goddamn car on the ocean. You know what I mean? That's not the saying. But you get what I mean, right? Like, I could have been in the middle of the ocean and I'm like, guys, I really need a boat. TC Carson could have come up and be like,
He sold you a bridge.
girl, I've got a great car for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, would have sold me a fucking fridge. Like, dude was so charismatic. He was very good. He seemed very excited to be there and happy to be there. So I'm sure they're paying him very well. So yeah, that's good. That's all great stuff. I'm happy for him and happy for fans of the franchise too.
Yeah, that would be me. Um, God of War, as I said, is my favorite PlayStation franchise. Always has been. I played the first
Yeah,
game back in 2005 when it first came out. When I was 12 years old, and I've played every single God of War game since the original. So I'm ecstatic. Now, I wasn't surprised in the sense that I've heard about the rumor of this game forever because I follow a lot of gaming news. This always had a lot of smoke, so I felt like there was some truth to it because I kept sawing like I kept seeing it consistently on Twitter. So like it didn't fully surprise me. As soon as I saw the one, I was like, yeah, that's the remake, and yeah, it ended up being remake. But I didn't expect. The only thing that I didn't expect was it to be a remake of all three of them. Like the first two, I get, but God of War 3 holds up really well today. Like that feels more modern. So I'm very
yeah. I'm
curious.
surprised they did that. Didn't that debut on the PS3 or some shit? Or was one of the last PS2 games? I can't remember.
It was a PS3 game for sure. It was a huge
It was
jump.
a PS3 game. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't a
yeah, yeah.
launch game. It was like 2010. So it was like four
Oh,
years
okay.
in. Yeah,
Right, because they did all the side games on the PSP.
yeah, yeah. And
We're also forgetting, or maybe we're not forgetting, but they also announced like this
we're not
like
there yet.
prequel to God of
We're not
War.
there yet. We're not there.
We're not there yet. Okay, never mind. Never mind. They didn't do any of that. Don't listen to me.
They did a PS4 remaster of God of War 3 as well. I feel like a lot of people play God of War 3 on the PS4 as the remaster, and that held up really well too. I think God of War 3 has one of the greatest opening scenes ever in a video game. Like it's incredible how awesome the first 15 minutes of that game is, and I'm curious how I'm dying to see how it's gonna look on a remake. Like how God of War 3 is gonna look. Oh my god. Dory, you're gonna love the first three. These games are incredible. God of War 2
Yeah.
was such a. The first game was amazing, but the second game was even a huge jump over the
Me too,
first
man.
one. God of War 2 is
Yeah.
legitimately. Even as a huge fan of God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, I could argue God of War 2 is the best in the franchise. Like God of War 2 is that good. So, and that's not even like a outlandish opinion. I think a lot of people would argue that the people that grew up with the franchise. I think a lot of people would always.
Yeah.
There was a big, when God of War 2018 came out. Everybody had that debate: what was better, God of War 2018 or God of War 2? So it's exciting. I'm really curious how they pull it off. But yeah,
Yeah.
is it coming to PS? And my other
But I mean,
question,
this has got
yeah,
to be years away. I wouldn't expect
yeah,
anything until 2028,
yeah, agreed.
29.
I think
Yeah.
I,
I wouldn't expect anything for years. This is a
28. I
big
think
endeavor. How long were the I don't remember. How long were the three games? They were like 10 hours each or 15 or
that's a good
they
question.
weren't super long.
You can beat them fast
I don't remember.
if you knew what you were doing. How long? So
Yeah. I honestly might replay them just to see how they hold up, but I don't know. We'll see.
well, they're so hard to
I'm
play
probably just
now.
gonna wait for the remakes, but yeah,
They're like
it's
13 to 15 hours maybe.
yeah. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they're usually about 11 to I would say about 10 to 15. If you knew how to if you knew what you were doing, you can beat it less than that for sure.
Yeah,
All right, and then they close the show with a nice reveal. God of War Sons of Sparta, which was a 2D side-scrolling everybody say it's a Metroidvania. It's a Metroidvania. But like a retro pixel art starring Kratos when he was a Spartan before he killed his family, had the ashes put on him and all that. Like, although even when he was a child, he was bald because he shaved his head, and he teams up with his brother. It looks like. Have you ever played? You never played the prequels, right, on the PSP?
no.
Because his brother was a major character in those games, and well, one of the games, if I remember correctly, is played by Elijah Wood.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and there's a whole story to his brother, and I'm glad that we're gonna see more of that. It already actually came out the same day it was revealed. I forget his brother's name. Oh, his brother's name was Deimos. That was it. Yeah. And I, I was. This is the game that surprised me. I didn't expect that at all. I was like, "What the hell?" I don't know if I have the time to play it right now. I have too many games playing right now, but I will get it at some point. I hope it comes to PC at some point, but I can get it on PS5. I mean, Dory, does this have any interest to you? Because I know you don't like any you don't like Metroidvanias.
I'm not really into side-scrolling games or Metroidvanias. I don't care enough about the lore or the plot of God of War to play a prequel. So yeah, this did nothing for me, unfortunately. I love the God of War series. Ragnarok in 2018 are some of my favorite PlayStation games of all time. They're goated, but yeah, no interest here. But I am very excited for the remakes, and will enjoy waiting for them for the next 3 years at least. Each of those games at least have got to be a 1 to 2 year development cycle. I say 1 to 2 year because they've already got a game to base it around. So, yeah, it just depends on how deep they go on the remake end. But I presume a brand new engine, brand new assets, that kind of stuff. So, we'll see. But years for sure. We probably won't hear anything about this again until at least next year or the year after. So, and that's maybe a release date or not even the game coming out.
Yeah. Well, that concludes the state of play. Like I said before, I thought this was arguably the best state of play ever, or at least definitely one of the best ever.
It's got to be up there.
It feels
I
like a
I thought it was
true.
really great.
Yeah.
I didn't like have it as high in regard as you did, but I think that's because a few of the games either didn't appeal to me or I thought they were something else that they weren't, and I was like ah. But generally, I mean, every single time that I thought the show was done having something interesting or something cool or just a cool surprise, like the Castlevania thing. Even though I'm not into it, I'm not going to play it. I thought that was awesome that got announced. That got me psyched, even though I don't even play Castlevania games or Metroidvanias, but I think it's awesome that it's coming back after almost 20 years. So that's huge. So that helped it too.
Yeah, what shocked me was when we got to Marathon, I thought that was the end of the show, right? And then it kept
Yeah,
going and going and going. And I forgot it was over an hour long. Now, when they said it was over an hour long, I thought maybe like, oh, okay, maybe 5 minutes over or something like that. It was a straight up another like 20 something minutes of
yeah.
stuff. I was like,
This
oh
was
shit.
this was jam packed, stuffed and filled with just
Yeah.
lots of great reveals and games and trailers and news. This is what a state of play really should be. This is like
Mhm.
basically a silver or gold standard for what state of play should be moving forward. So I thought Sony did a great job with this. Basically, knocked it out of the park.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that concludes our show. Next week, I'll probably talk about Dragon Quest Seven Reimagined, and we'll see what else we talk about. Is there any other games you wanted to spotlight next week, or do you have in mind?
Yeah, well, I'm going to be probably talking about Romeo as a Dead Man, which just came out recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I'll feel about it because I've actually never played a Suda game before. I didn't grow up playing Killer 7, and I never played No More Heroes. So I've never played a Suda game before. I have a feeling I'll like a lot of the sense of humor, but the combat will probably be more mixed. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about that. And then other than that, we're approaching Resident Evil, but not quite right there.
Yeah.
I don't think any other games are coming out that I'm super excited for. So that it'll probably just be Romeo, Wherefore Art Thou Romeo, and that'll probably be it.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. You all have a good night, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Stream Persona 3 Reload OST. Thank you.